shat myself. My name is Matthew Kroll.
Courage, Bob. My name is Shahir Dowd.
And this is the only podcast about movies, specifically the many films of this year in review of reviews of the year for the year 2025. Now, dear TOPAM fam, you might be saying, isn't it mid-March? Did the Oscars just happen? Are you actually doing a top 10 for the year after the Oscars? And to that, what do we say, Shahir?
Of course we are.
Yes.
We are on a rolling train of podcasting, and if we do not keep the train rolling at this particular cadence of 51 weeks, we will lap ourselves, or we will only do 30 movies.
That's also true.
Yeah, which will be like it'll be like a leap year.
It'd be sane.
Yeah. Would it though? Hey, look, Patrick Williams was just on our show a couple of weeks ago for Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, and he had just released his top 10, and he did note that we will obviously come out a few weeks later.
Yes.
We are the most important award show of the film going year.
If not the most important, the last.
Definitely the last, definitely the most important, definitely the least important. We will, you can write us in onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com if you won a TOPAM award in this conversation, which, by the way, we're going to mention so many movies on this episode. It is highly likely if any of those filmmakers are listening, you just won an award by virtue of being here.
There is a chance. There is a chance because we will talk about so many films this evening in this probably breakneck long episode. If you clicked this, you know how long it is. And I'm sorry / you're welcome. Yeah, there's a chance that possibly this is going to cover enough ground where someone messages us at onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. We're the king of participation trophies, so we will get one out to you if you email us in. And then to everyone that did email us in their top 10 list, we are playing those on this episode. I gave a few of you a nudge. I sincerely appreciate those who responded and everyone who came in. I think this is the most listener emails we have in any given year.
This is going to be, can I go over the format a little bit of what we're going to do real quick before we dive in? So we're going to talk about the intro, which is what we're doing right now. Hello, welcome to the part you're currently involved in. Then we're going to talk about the Oscars for a little bit because that just happened last night and that was really, really fun. Then we're going to get into our sort of honorable mentions, our movies that we enjoyed outside the podcast, and then, of course, Friends movies, if they have any that are going on. And then we will get into not only Shahir and I's top 10 reviews of the year, but also everyone else's through emails and fan top 10s. And from the White Elephant Party that I throw back in December, some live guests, some special surprises of people that came for the White Elephant Party. I drag them in here at increasing levels of inebriation to talk about not their favorite film of 2025, but their favorite film that they saw for the first time in 2025. And there's some interesting ones in there.
Well, you consider the fact that we're doing the podcast at this time of the year and saying, wouldn't it make more sense you to hold the White Elephant Party at this time of the year so that those people who came would have time to see the entire year's worth of movies?
No!
Yeah, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? It's not, you're suggesting the insanity. I'm saying go with the insanity.
We can't force our insanity on everybody else.
Reschedule Christmas is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I will get on that next year. Note to self, don't get on that next year. Clickety, clackety, clickety.
All right. The Oscars happened last night, which is, something that happens every year. It's a big award ceremony, and I never watch it.
I've heard of it.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I went to my friend Abby's. I go to it every year now. She throws a banger Oscar party. Went to a bar on the Upper East Side.
Okay.
And it was really, really,
Where
really
on the
fun.
Upper East Side?
92nd?
I used to live there.
I
used to live on...
It was in your old apartment.
Yeah, there you go.
But the thing that I
was there.
The thing that I took away from the event was she made specialty cocktails that the bar would do. And one was, I think, called like the Marty Supreme. Okay. It was a martini. Like
You're
the
not the only person.
Supreme.
I wonder if it was the same party. I've got another friend, Lauren.
I don't know. Well, let me tell you the next thing.
Who does the similar thing.
Let me tell you the next thing.
Yeah.
The other specialty drink, and they brought these into the bar that the bar had to hold. Like they brought alcohol to the bar.
This is not alcohol at the bar?
This is new alcohol. Mm-hmm. The other specialty was called, quote, a few small beers.
There you go.
And it was a bucket of 6-7 ounce Modelo's.
6-7? Sorry.
Wow.
I'm still at the start of 2025 here.
And listen, I drank 2 of those buckets.
Okay.
It was a delight.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even hungover because it was Modelo.
Okay. Is that I don't drink beer. So.
Oh, it's a light beer.
Okay.
Modelo's tasty. Bottled Modelo is tasty. Canned, I don't particularly like. And there was one place, shout out to El Centro, R.I.P., that was on 55th Street, 9th Ave and 55th Street in Manhattan, where it was some of my favorite Mexican food. It survived the pandemic and then slowly died afterward. But for some reason, I've never enjoyed Modelo on tap anywhere. And it must have been the right level of bacteria and old pipes that the Modelo at that place was the most exquisite elixir I'd ever had. And I'm searching far and wide to find a place where Modelo on tap tastes good. And that was the place. And it's gone now. And I'll never have it again.
Well, I mean, are you in any way suspicious that someone just peed in your Modelo at that place?
Listen, if someone consistently pissed in my Modelo, a la From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Or no, that's Desperado, I think, is the piss on Chango. But I would say, A, exquisite control of the actual flavor profile consistently, because I went to that place for years.
Right.
And B, if that's what piss tastes like, yeah, I'm sure. It was a goddamn delight.
You have a new fetish to deal with here.
No, because it's gone. You can't do it.
So
gross. Anyway, I don't think it's pee. I just think the pipes themselves were dirty.
All right.
Sorry, we got off course.
Yeah.
The Oscars.
The Oscars happened last night. I didn't watch it. We actually watched one battle after another. My wife and I, because she hadn't seen the movie yet, so we were watching that. And I, a few friends were texting me here and there during the evening. And I was like, I'm not watching. Please don't spoil the Oscars for me. And then as I knew this was going to happen as well, as soon as I woke up the next morning, it was like, the only thing I could see were who the winners were. Ding, 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 who the winners were. There was the only way this would happen is if I didn't use my phone and avoided people for an entire day. But so I did throughout the day kind of get a sense of who won, what major awards won.
Yeah.
We posted a letterbox list, a letterbox ballot at the start of the week, just to say what we had chosen. And do you want to kind of go through? I know you won the Oscars out of you and I.
You just by 2. I got 12 correct.
I got 10.
Yeah.
I think I lost out on some big ones here, but why don't we go through them and talk through them?
Yes.
So we've got so many movies to talk about. We're not going to talk about all of these things.
No.
But I'm going to go through with Best International Feature first. You had voted for
The Voice of Hidden Rajab, but apparently Sentimental Value won.
I had voted for It Was Just an Accident and Sentimental Value won. I think that's fair. It was also nominated for Best Feature. Oh, no, what? Sentimental Value was not nominated for Best Feature. Sorry.
Yes, it was. It's right there. I see it on the list.
Oh, my God. I don't know what I'm talking about here. This kind of goes to show you how much I pay attention to the Oscars, other than the fact that we do every year ensure that we have reviewed every single Best Picture nominee, which is 10 episodes.
And we did all the Best Internationals.
And we did all the Best International Features this year. So there are at least 15 episodes of Oscar-nominated content, along with several others as well. Like, for example,
16
K-pop,
if you count, K-pop Demon Hunters.
Hunters.
17 if you count Fire and Ash.
Yes.
18 if you count F1. No, F1's already in the list. Yeah.
And like visual effects, I voted for Sinners. Did you vote? Well,
no, I did Fire and Ash.
There you go. There's your 11 over 12. I mean, Fire and Ash is a dead giveaway. I just kind of thought that Sinners was perhaps more interesting.
The VFX breakdown of Sinners I find more interesting. I think the technicality of all of the stuff that Cameron does with the Avatar movies.
It's a monolith there.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one that we'll just jump over to was Best Writing, both adapted and original. I'll read these as one just so that we can kind of get through this. In the adapted category, the nominees were Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Train Dreams. I voted for Train Dreams. You voted for Hamnet. And in the original screenplay, the nominees were Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, Sinners. I voted for Sentimental Value.
I voted for Sinners.
And the winners for Best Writing were...
We both got the adapted wrong, and I got original right.
Oh, sorry. It's not actually on my list.
No, I got it. I got it right here. We're cooking. Okay. We have so much to get through.
Okay. So what was it? It was...
So the winner for adapted was One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
And the winner for original was Sinners.
There you go. There you go. That's huge for Ryan Coogler. That's fantastic.
I do wish, like, when he got up there, I was glad he did the speech. So you didn't watch any of the speeches. He had an excellent speech. And it was so good. I was like, it got me worried that perhaps he might not get back up there again later in the evening.
Oh, you think they do this live?
No. I just you could tell he like. Let me follow me here. He was playing, I think, the way I would play it, playing it safe. Like, he did this phenomenal speech
Yeah.
For the one time he's guaranteed to go up there once he found out he won, right? I was really holding, and spoiler alert if you've seen the Oscars or not, but Sinners did not win Best Picture.
So you're saying that like he's blown his load as far
not
as
blown his load. I honestly think playing it safe. But it was so good. For out of my head, I was just like, oh man, like
so just so I understand it, when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, you were like, oh, this is going to blow his chances to win the Best Actor?
No, because it was already locked.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying, no. Okay, so there was talk in sort of the cinematic community that the way that the Oscars, and we all know that this is a bit of a political game. You have to campaign, you have to do all the other stuff. That what would happen would be original screenplay would go to Sinners, so Coogler would get something, and that way they could still nominate Sinners for Best Picture and still give it to something else.
Right.
And so it felt to me that he used his time wisely, but that sort of reminded me of like, oh man, like, well, I hope he gets to go back up there again, but alas, he did not.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that factor there. So directing, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Ryan Coogler for Sinners. I voted for Paul Thomas Anderson.
I voted for Paul Thomas Anderson, but I wrote want to Ryan Coogler.
I've watched One Battle After Another a couple of times recently, and One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Marty Supreme are kind of extraordinary in how much those movies are doing. That's not to say Chloe Zhao for Hamnet or Joachim Trier. I mean, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value is doing a lot of work as well. It's just there's a lot of movie packed into those three movies. And I kind of felt like I played a little bit of politics with this one. I thought this was a Paul Thomas Anderson lifetime career achievement award.
He's 11-0 up to this point or something crazy.
No, I don't think it's 11-0. He's only made 10 films.
But they've been nominated. Those movies have been nominated in other categories.
Yeah, he hasn't been nominated for.
Are you sure he hasn't done it for like adapted writing or anything like that?
Maybe, but he hasn't.
I could have sworn there was a number. I heard the number 11.
Okay,
but I have no idea. Maybe
I'm
wrong.
Watching Stranger Things. Anyway, moving on here. Let's go to Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Lilias for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Masaku for Sinners, and Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. I voted for Wunmi Masaku.
I voted for Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning. We were both wrong. Amy Madigan won for Weapons.
What a delight. She was not ready to do that.
Right.
And I think that was the first time I'm trying to remember exactly, but it'd been ages.
She has been nominated before, but like a long time ago.
And what a fucking cool, fun lady up there. Like she was shocked and it was on her face, and it was really, really cool to see. Yeah. It's also cool to see.
She had won previously for she was nominated for Field of Dreams 40 years ago.
But like I love that a horror antagonist won that. Like it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. I think that's a fun win. It's not my pick, but again, what do I know? What do I care? Actress in a leading role: Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Renat Renizv, which I'm never going to pronounce correctly, for Sentimental Value, and Emma Stone for Begonia. We both voted for Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. It seemed like a lock politically. Yeah. It seemed like it was the one who was going to win. Actor in a supporting role: Benicio del Toro with a few small beers in One Battle After Another. So Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I voted for Delroy Lindo. You voted for Sean Penn. And Sean Penn won.
And Sean Penn did not show up to the Oscars, and Kieran Culkin was the announcer for this, and he's basically like, Sean Penn could not or did not want to be here tonight, so I'm going to accept the award on his behalf. It was just like a beautiful, weird little snarky moment that you should expect from Kieran Culkin.
Look, Sean Penn, it's a great performance. My preference is Delroy Lindo, just because I think Delroy Lindo is magnificent in Sinners. But it is what it is. And then I think the sort of the big moment of the night, the actor in a leading role category: Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. I voted for Michael B. Jordan.
I voted for Michael B. Jordan.
Did you? I thought you voted. No.
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. Let me rephrase. I voted Leonardo DiCaprio on our ballot here. I did at the party ballot change it on a different thing. So for this, it does not count towards my 12. I still got that one wrong.
I know that because I made a graphic of these, and I was like, I had to find a photo of Leonardo DiCaprio that matched up with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan won.
Yeah.
A fun fact today, this was my fun little detail. I was like, oh, is Michael B. Jordan the youngest Best Actor winner? And
how old is Michael B. Jordan?
He is not the youngest Best Actor winner. The youngest Best Actor winner was the person who gave him that award that night, which was Adrian Brody, who won it at the age of 29. Michael B. Jordan, do you know how old?
No, I don't.
How old do you think Michael B. Jordan is?
33?
39. Wow. Yeah, I know. I was like, he looks fantastic because at that age, I looked like a wrinkled up raisin. And then finally, Best Picture, the nominees were Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. I voted for Sinners. I voted for Sinners. And the winner was One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Okay, so sorry, we just kind of speed run through a bunch of that stuff there. This is the one that we should probably just talk about just for a little bit here. It doesn't matter neither here nor there which film won. And which film, like it kind of gets marked down in the sort of in the annals of history that, this was the movie that won that year. And so I think that's fascinating. One Battle After Another. I know Patrick Willems, who was on the episode, said, that's the one he would vote for. I've watched that movie 3 times in the last couple of weeks, and I have liked it just a little bit less each time.
I've seen it twice, and I liked it a little bit less the second time I saw it too.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a detriment.
It is an extraordinary movie, and it's extraordinary that Paul Thomas Anderson does what he does so well. But I kind of felt that Sinners was the movie that captured the moment a little bit better.
And Sinners is one of the rare films that I will say is infinitely rewatchable.
Yeah.
I've watched Sinners, I think 4 times. Sinners, I've watched it twice at home, I think twice in the theater.
Yeah.
And it was the first 4K that I played in my new player that it was like watching it in Dolby Vision here, kind of blew my goddamn mind.
Yeah.
And it is an absolute God, it's so fucking good. So Sinners walked away with 4 Oscars, even though it was nominated for 16.
Right.
One Battle After Another walked away with 6.
Yeah.
Frankenstein walked away with 3. And K-pop,
right?
Yeah. And K-pop Demon Hunters walked away with 2.
And including Best Animated Feature.
Yeah. Which
and Best Song.
And Best Song.
Yeah.
I was a little peeved. They were, it's funny, they were playing people off as they normally do. And a lot of people up to that point beforehand, kind of talked through it and they weighted it down.
Yeah. That seems to be the play.
Right. But when K-pop Demon Hunters went up there, after EJ said her piece and the other writers wanted to come up and talk about the song, they would not let them, and then they hard cut to commercial.
Oh, really?
And what sucked about that was the first Korean song or K-pop song to win in that category, but also everyone else had kind of already done it. And all of the celebrities bits this year, a lot of them, there was one with RDJ and Chris Evans that just was the flattest thing. The writing of the skit parts.
Yeah.
There was one with the Bridesmaids reunion. There was a couple others that, other than Conan, felt really flat. None of the jokes super hit. And I was kind of upset. I'm like, let these fucking people who you use this song to promote this fucking show, let them talk for at least a few minutes. Right. I was kind of pissed off that we're doing slapstick bullshit lines from, I guess, arguably more famous people, but no one is enjoying them. Right. And we're wasting time on that. You won't let the writers of the most popular song in cinema of the year talk for more than a minute. It was annoying.
Okay.
That's just my personal little axe to grind. I'm getting off my soapbox for now.
How was Conan O'Brien?
He was great.
He's great.
He did a phenomenal open that was essentially he was dressed up as Aunt Gladys. It was Gladys, right? From Weapons. Yeah. He's in the makeup chair. Then he has to get to the Oscars, but then essentially he gets chased by a bunch of children through every movie.
Okay.
Even K-pop Demon Hunters, which was very, very funny.
Okay. As animated or?
Yeah, at that point he was animated.
Oh, there you go.
You should watch it. It's very well done.
I will watch it at some point during the year.
And his opening monologue was good. Okay. Conan, I think, is a perfect host for the Oscars. He has the right amount of both reverence and just insane batshit silliness that I think it needs. And I will say the In Memoriam this year was particularly moving. It was just very well done. They had actors pop in and out throughout to say things, and it broke up the long train of people that we lost this year. So I don't know. I think the Oscars overall this year did a very good job. Matt Berry was the voice and the announcer.
So that's what I would have watched it for.
Well, so it's funny. He wasn't there. He was doing it remote.
Yeah.
But I watched a thing earlier today where before the show started, they had him up on the big screen, like instructing everyone what to do. Like, you have to sit here. This is your time. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But he was doing fucking amazing jokes throughout that entire thing. And there was one where he's like, please remember to not talk for 5 minutes. Just pretend you're at a bar at an after party when you're talking to Emma Stone and you remember she's just being polite to you. Like, it was very, very funny.
You're certainly the most devious bastard in all of New
York City.
With VerboCare, help is always ready. Before, during, and after your stay. We've planned for the plot twists, so support is always available. Because a great trip starts with peace of mind.
Who cares about the Oscars? Nobody cares about the Oscars.
I throw my paper. Everyone only cares about the TOPAM year in reviews of the year.
That's right. So where are we starting with this?
We're going to talk about any honorable mentions we had.
Right. So just again, sort of the foundational ground rules for our top 10s is that we had to have done a full episode about them. There's no hard and fast rule about whether we can add in classics or, this year we did 2 classic movies during the year, All the President's Men and something.
I'll tell you, I did not include any of them.
Yeah. We did. There's no hard and fast rule that we can't include them, but we didn't include them this year. That's generally about it. But so for any movie that's mentioned so far this year, you can go back and listen to an entire episode about it. In terms of the process of how we make these lists, you and I have different processes entirely. But I will, from my point of view, I'll basically, it's a little bit like Severance, which is that I'll go through and pick movie titles and just go, I felt something about that movie. I felt something about that movie. I felt something about that movie. And I'll just put all of those down on a list, which would be like, at this point, it was 23 movies on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll go through a couple of rounds of like, okay, now we got to be strict with it. What are the 10s here? And that's usually where the honorable mentions will come out.
Are you describing making a list?
I'm describing how I make my list. And then we'll finally get to the third round, and there'll be honorable mentions that'll get left out of that. Do you find the process like challenging? Like,
a lot of years I do.
Yeah.
This year it was like I was water. Like I just flowed through this. Honestly, normally I will do exactly what you just did, and I'll put them in and I'll lock in 10 and I'll switch them around till the day.
Yeah.
And this time I was like, I don't think I actually moved. I didn't put them all in like order as I did it, but I was like, okay, this one's going to be 6. This one's going to be 3. This one's going to be 9.
Yeah.
Right. And normally I shift them around as I add them from my main pool.
Yeah.
Didn't move a 1. This is, I think, my most clear-headed top 10 list we've ever done.
Now, was there the one thing that I always ask for every year, or just kind of like would like to think about, is did you have like kind of a theme in the movies that you selected that you could kind of identify? It doesn't have to be a coherent theme. It's just something that you kind of felt. In previous years, I'd talked about the idea that, how do we reckon with when Oppenheimer won, how do we reckon with the past? Like how do we, there was other years where I was like, what does the future of humanity look like at the end of the world? Just kind of loose ideas. I wondered if you had anything that you thought about.
Shahir, I just looked at my list.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can say that I can find a theme in, and I hope the listeners can find something better than this, because otherwise I think I'm kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Is murder.
Okay, that's it. Murder.
I think every one of these films,
action, not so much a theme.
Every one of these films has a murder in it.
Okay. Okay.
Which is fucked up.
Okay. I'm already like, I can see like 4 or 5 movies that are on my list that will not be on yours.
Great. No, who knows? Or maybe you forgot about the murders. Maybe you blocked them out.
My thinking about my list, the thing that I thought was a theme for me that I was like, yeah, I think this is actually kind of consistent. And sometimes these themes are like so vague that any movie could fit into it. But the thing that I thought about this year that I think is exemplified by one particular scene that we will inevitably both talk about during this episode is this idea that the past is our future. So the idea that like in many cases in, previous years, I talked about the idea that we have to reckon with the past, or negotiate the things that were terrible about us that we, come into the past. And the thing I thought about this year was the failures that we thought could define us, or the past that we thought was buried, can actually be embraced and be our future. And that was a theme that I felt very strongly about when I looked at my list. It was this idea that we embrace the past as our history. Our history matters to us, and our history is a way of moving forward. And then if you look at a grander context around what's happening in the world today, a thing that I can't get like quite let go is this week I watched the I don't know if you saw these the DEI Doge Bro depositions.
I've seen clips.
You've seen clips? I watched all 4 hours of these things. Like and then they were taken down on Friday afternoon as I was like finishing up. I just had them playing in the background because I was at work doing something, and I was like, I'm really interested to hear the thinking about how this works. And the fascinating thing was like when the Trump administration came in, they made a big play with Doge, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, to remove all mentions of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. And essentially, when you listen to these two guys who were in charge of working on this at the National Endowment of the Arts, what they were really saying was any part of history which is not white heterosexual male is not of interest for all of us, and therefore we are going to remove it.
Yep.
And that, like, literally, if you go through and listen when they are asked to define DEI,
they can't.
That is literally what they're saying. Is like they did search, they
use ChatGPT to search for
and they
references.
also searched through things and just said LGBTQ. Okay, that's out. Women, that's out. And the sort of irony was like a documentary about women in the Holocaust was determined to be DEI and therefore not eligible. And there's serious consequences to this. These guys were working in the National Endowment of the Arts. I know and work around people who work in the sciences.
Yep, same.
Who had the same rubric applied to their work.
I had people that I know lose funding because of that.
Completely lose funding because of these, because essentially there was this idea that, the parts of our history, this is the charitable way of saying what these guys were saying, which is the parts of our history that make us feel uncomfortable shouldn't be discussed in these situations. They were only interested in things that said America was great and America was wonderful. And the thing that I thought was interesting when I looked at these movies that I picked, funny when we talk about the first one, is that I thought a consistent, coherent theme throughout the year, or something that I kind of saw pop up again and again, that I was like continually impressed by with many of these movies, was that the failures, the past, the history that we once perhaps tried to erase is actually the thing we should embrace and is a gateway into our future. And it is our future. And I thought that was really beautiful. And it's, I think maybe can you think of the scene that I'm really, really thinking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, so what you're saying, you gave a beautifully poignant theming to your list, which is lovely because mine was murder.
Yeah, murder.
I might be able to use the word family in mine.
Okay. Sure.
So we'll see, depending on what vibe we want to get to.
All right. So honorable mentions first.
Yeah.
Is that where we're going?
I think we should do like 3 honorable mentions. I don't think we should like go down
I've got like 6 of them, but I think
because here's the problem with listing all of them.
I'm not going to list them all.
No.
What's fun about the honorable mentions is it gives us an indication of what.
No, I know, make the cut. I know, but that's what I wanted. The more we say, we only have 51 of them. We're knocking them down. Do you know what I mean? We're already hedging the bets. What about the Kashi pool right now, or what's the other fucking
Kalshi?
Whatever the fucking gambling site is, I don't know. Yeah. All the odds are going to be fucked.
Right? Why?
Because we're going to change them right now.
The
honorable mentions, people are getting in their bets at the last minute, and it's gonna ruin lives, Shahir.
Okay, all right. Well, give us one of your honorable mentions. What was something that you wanted to be in the list or came close to being in the list but didn't quite make it?
I would say Weapons. Since we're talking about that, Weapons was a wonderful film that kind of took me by surprise. I really, really love it. I've watched it, I think, twice at this point.
Yeah,
and I will watch it a bunch more times. It is such a wonderful. At the end, silly horror movie, and it's great because it can be both of those things at the same time, and I really, really enjoy that, especially after I think the last horror movie that I watched was Scream 7, and it was such a fucking shit show. Like it misunderstood the assignment through and through.
Right.
And Weapons, a brand new story which I love, just nailed it right out the gate. So I loved that movie very much.
Okay. All right. Well, Weapons was not one that I really resonated with because of a logic fallacy.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, we talked about it on there. You can go back and listen to it there. But it's not one that made my honorable mentions. And, I'll spoil it here. Not one that made my final round of movies either. It was just an accident. It was a movie that didn't make my final list. It was a movie that I deeply loved, thought a lot about this year. I think for me, the exercise of going through Jafar Panahi's back catalog of films was so exciting, and I really enjoyed it. I think I watched like 11 movies in a couple of weeks for that episode. And I loved It Was Just an Accident. It is kind of his most accessible film, but it didn't quite land in the same way for me, as much as it landed more for me as a movie about Jafar Panahi than it did as a movie on its own terms. Yeah. And that's kind of where I was that. How about you? Have you got any others?
The Voice of Hin Rajab.
Okay. That was like the last movie.
I know it was, but it stuck with me. Yeah. Go back and listen to that. I don't want to go into all that, the weight of it here, but like, it is an extraordinary piece of work that I was really rooting for the Oscar win, because I just wanted more eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the irony was that the lead actor wasn't able to come because of his passport was barred from entry.
Yeah.
So there's the irony of that particular.
Yeah. Anyway, that movie is phenomenal. If you have not seen it yet, you definitely should.
It was on my honorable mentions. Well, I was sort of curious because I know it was the last movie we were going to do before we put this list together. I was like, is this going to ruin my list? Because I'm going to
explode it. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that might be the case, but it didn't quite. Sorry Baby is a movie that really, 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 really liked. I know it ended up on a lot of people's top 10 lists. I think it's a fantastic debut film. I wanted it to be on here, but it just kind of at some point kind of got, and that will be hilarious when you hear what my first movie.
There we go. I'll do one more.
Yeah.
Begonia.
Yep.
Begonia was on my honorable mentions. It's a movie that whenever I think about it, I say I should rewatch Begonia.
Yeah.
But it's not like I loved it at the time. And even though I hated the marketing campaign, which we talked about a little bit on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a movie that weirdly does kind of speak to our moment in an odd way.
Right. Yeah.
And I love the end.
Yeah.
It's just fucking cool as hell.
I'll put in my last one here. Actually, I'll put two of them. Two of them are the biggest movies of the year. Neja 2. I didn't make my honorable mention.
Neja 2 is on my honorable mention.
And it is like the biggest movie of the year. I find that movie just to be incredible as a global phenomenon. Yeah. And the fact that it is a global phenomenon, and in many ways upends our understanding of how Hollywood economics work, and K-pop Demon Hunters. Mm-hmm. I think these are two miraculous films that just didn't quite make my list, but are absolutely worth your time.
Yeah.
The final one would be The Predators, both
Hunter Killers and Badlands.
Both of those I just think are extraordinary. So and actually circling back to that thing about Neja too, just one other thing to think about from the Oscars last night is Warner Brothers was the big winner. Warner Brothers was the really big winner. And remember when you talked about One Battle After Another, I said this movie is not doing well financially at the box office, but I think that's Warner Brothers is okay with that calculation because it'll give them Best Picture win, and it did. And Sinners gave them also a blockbuster clout at the same time.
And one with 16 noms. So it's like...
Yeah. So that asking price that, Netflix and now Paramount is making on Warner Brothers really, pushes that into the equation.
Conan had a great joke. I guess the CEO or the owner of Netflix was at the...
Ted Sarandos?
Yeah. And he's like, he's in the building. Yeah. Guys, this is exciting. This is his first time in a theater. This is what it's like, Ted. He did this whole thing, and it was very, very fun.
Conan O'Brien. All right. Is that what we're doing? Or we're going to jump into something else before we go into our top 10?
We basically did our honorables. Was there anything outside the podcast that you saw that would be worthwhile to discuss?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of movies this year. I'll only mention a couple of them. The first one, because I'm gutted we didn't do this, and I think we should do it because it would make a perfect accompaniment to another film that we did this year, which is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. 28 Years of The Bone Temple is absolutely worth your time. And it would, kind of like Predator, Killer of Killers and Predator Badlands is miraculous in terms of like...
I still have not seen it.
Yeah, and I just think like it would have been really amazing for us to have both those films in that year.
Yeah.
Fantastic film as well. I've got a couple more, but I'll let you go first.
Iron Lung.
Oh, yeah. The
Markiplier.
Yeah, Markiplier.
What?
I heard it was not a great movie, but he again, fascinating story.
So fascinating story. $3 million turned a huge profit.
Yeah.
All independent. He just literally called theaters. And when you have 30.4 million subs, you can kind of do that.
Yeah.
But it's funny. If you have enough of a groundswell following, the bar to get your movie in a theater is quite low.
Mm-hmm. But it's got an audience. Yeah.
Yeah. But I really, really appreciated what it was. Here's the weird thing, Shahir.
Yeah.
If 25 minutes was cut out of that 2 hour and some change movie, it would have been close to a masterpiece.
Really?
Like it just overstays its welcome throughout the thing. Okay. It's essentially a one-man show. But it is very cool and creepy, and he understood the assignment. And I was blown away how much I actually enjoyed it and liked it. And I love that it's kind of opening that up more for, YouTubers or other creatives sort of who want to move into the Hollywood system, kind of showing what that can do. I'm super proud to be like, I'm obviously in no way involved with that movie, but it's really nice, especially, just seeing someone else of the cloth getting out there and doing that. It's really
Here we
awesome.
go. On our mentions tab, I've added Iron Lung and I've given it a little check mark. It is the first mention of Iron Lung on this podcast, and it has been added to the list.
Okay.
One last one. Just a classic that I hadn't seen in many years. That is not a beloved classic by any means, but Peter Bogdanovich's film Noises Off. Which is an old theater movie about a theater. I think it was originally based on a play called The Play That Goes Wrong, and it is wild. John Ritter's in it. Christopher Reeve is in it. It is terrific. I remember when I was a kid, I watched this movie and I rolled on the floor laughing my ass off. And then as an adult watching this movie, I rolled on the floor laughing my ass off. If you can catch Noises Off, you will not be disappointed.
Nice.
All right.
And then the only friend I had that made a movie, honestly, was Patrick Willems.
Oh, yeah.
And The Dinner Plan is really, really great. If you have a Nebula subscription, you should definitely watch it. It is absolutely phenomenal. It has a bunch of actors in it that I'm sure you know. And
podcasters.
What?
And podcasters.
And podcasters. Yeah. Griffin Newman is on there as well. But I don't know. I was super proud of him for doing that. It's so fucking fun and smart. And I don't know. It was great.
I have not seen it, unfortunately, but I've added it to the list.
All right. There you go.
All right, should we jump into our number 10? This is going to be hilarious, by the way.
I think so. Okay, so actually, before we do our number 10 and then we go into the fan stuff. That's we got it down.
Okay, all right. This is why they should ask us to host the Oscars.
Should we flip a coin to see who goes first?
Sure.
So heads will be this little gate, and tails will be the little the name here. Ready? What do you want? You want to call it in the air?
Yeah.
Okay. This is for who goes
tails.
First. Nope. Heads.
Oh, there you go. All right, you're up first.
All right. My number 10 film of the year shocked me that it actually made it off of my...
and we're just making note that what were the movies that you took off the list?
I'm not telling.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to that. This was, every time I was thinking about it, I actually left my number 10 spot open because I didn't that was going to be like the last one I put in. And I was like, I think that's going to be that, but surely it can't be here.
Yeah.
But it was. And that would be Predator Badlands.
Fantastic choice.
I fucking loved this movie so much. I loved how they basically turned the Predator mythology into this is the first one where the Predator is the main character, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And look, do they turn him into a Disney princess?
Yep.
Absolutely. Do I want every Predator movie to be this? No. I'm not even sure if I want a continuation of this story, but it was such a fucking cool mix of the alien mythology mixed with the Predator mythology. Wayland Yutani, Elle Fanning's synth character was both of them, but particularly the one that travels with the Predator is phenomenal. I could not believe how emotionally invested I was in it. And I think everyone in that movie was acting above caliber for the assignment. It just fucking flowed, and it was for a Predator movie and an action movie, downright transcendent. I loved every second of that movie.
But I'm curious, is Killer of Killers on your list?
No.
Well, okay.
That was an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Yep.
I loved Predator Badlands. I actually just rewatched it a couple of weeks ago with my son. It was his first Predator movie.
Yeah. And it's a good one to start with.
It's a good one to start with for a kid. He was into it. He really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if he's ready for Arnold after that.
Jamie and I just rewatched Predator 1.
It's so good.
It's
right?
so fucking good.
Yeah. I think Dan Trachtenberg has sort of pulled off a miracle here. Much like 28 years later, he has breathed new life into this franchise, and he's done it single-handedly. Well, not single-handedly, but he is at the helm of what this is. Prey was magnificent. Killer of Killers was fantastic, and Predator Badlands fantastic. A great choice. I have notched it on the list, and I've added it to your top 10 and to my top 10. Now, my theme of the night was the failures that define us can be embraced and be our future. The first film is a movie that I have gotten many emails about from friends, from family, from people saying, what is wrong with you? This is one of the worst movies I've seen this year. And why are you championing this movie? It is one of the first movies I gave 5 stars this year. I absolutely loved it. And of course, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I'm blanking.
Really?
Go.
No. We talked about it on the Patrick Williams episode. It is The Materialist. The Materialist.
Oh, yeah.
The Materialist is my number 10 movie of the year. And just so with all that preamble, I went back and rewatched it to double check that I kind of was like, am I just misremembering the experience here? Because so many people literally would like quote me why they hated this movie. Like they would quote scenes why they hated this movie. And to those people, I will say, I hear you, I see you, and you're wrong.
Wow.
No, they were like, the dialogue is clunky, and I think there was a lot of expectation on Celine Song's follow-up feature to Past Lives, a movie that everybody loved that was nominated for Best Picture. But I found that Materialist was exactly the kind of throwback that I wanted at this point in terms of being a romantic film, not necessarily a romantic comedy, which I think a lot of people pointed out, but I found it to be delightful, and I found it to be hitting the right buttons for me in terms of like being absolutely sincere about this idea that love and relationships, particularly in the modern age, can be valued by an algorithm, by finances, by your height, by your hairline, by your weight, by your attractiveness, by all these things on scale. But ultimately, love has no quantity. And I found, and in this film in particular, there is a sort of triptych of characters, a sort of trio of people, 2 of whom who have a past and 1 of whom who does not have a future with these 2 people, with the other person. And the movie is kind of really exploring this idea that can the past be reignited here? And I found that to be beautiful. And it's still, when I rewatched it again, I was delighted by it. Not least of which, the soundtrack, there's a Cat Power song in there and a Japanese breakfast song, which have just like entered the lexicon of my Spotify rotation endlessly this year. I think this movie's delightful. And you ever know who thinks otherwise? You're wrong.
Wow. All right. Listen, I enjoyed it. I do want to rewatch it again. I remember you, me, and Izzy had a chat about it, and you were definitely the champion.
Yeah.
But I did. There are moments in it that are very, very silly, but it's something I would like to watch again.
All right.
All right. We're going to go into an email now from Michael and giving us his top 10.
So Michael writes in, there are still several movies from 2025 that I want to see, which may shake up the list, but ain't that always the way? Here's my top 10. Starting at number 10, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Number 9, One Battle After Another. Number 8, No Other Choice. Number 7, Superman. Number 6, Life of Chuck. Number 5, 28 Years Later. Number 4, Black Bag. Number 3, Weapons. Number 2, Mighty Supreme. And his number 1 film of the year was Sentimental Value. His honorable mentions were Neja 2 and The Alabama Solution. Talking further about Sentimental Value, Sentimental Value turned out to be the best movie I've seen in years. As someone who has a complicated relationship with my family, this movie spoke to me in a way that a film really hasn't before. It was interesting hearing a discussion calling it more intellectually engaging than emotional because the movie hit me real hard. Thanks for another great year of TOPAM. Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so much. And I believe it was me who kind of like really called this out as being like an intellectually engaging movie as opposed to one that I actually really emotionally fell for. But I completely agree with you. And it is a complicated movie about family. And I think in terms of like, that theme that I have in terms of the past being part of the future. Yeah. In murder in this particular case. It really does speak to that in many ways and in like quite beautiful ways. The way that the house is used in that movie is really extraordinary. Again, thank you.
Also, great email to come in at the tail end of my top 10 because I did see that as a double feature with Predator Badlands. So I had an Elle Fanning double feature that day and it was a trip.
There you go.
Okay. And next up, we have our first TOPAM fam top 10 coming in from Ricardo.
Ricardo, what's up?
We're going to play it right meow.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Shahir. You guys got some international fans too. Greetings from Mexico City. We love you so much. Los amamos, los queremos. Thank you so much for the work you've put up this year. You guys make us laugh. You guys entertain us. You guys gave us a purpose to get to the end of the week. So keep up the good work. I hope to keep listening to this podcast for another 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. Anyways, I will run through this list. As PTA just said, it's been a great year for movies, so I'll start. Number 10, Dreams, Sex, Love, this year's Golden Bear winner, really underrated movie. Number 9, The Voice of Hind Rajab, a really potent, difficult to watch film. Number 8, this year's Cannes Director and Actor winner by Brazil, The Secret Agent. At number 7, we've got Hamnet by Chloe Zhao, which I'm really glad she got out of the MCU at last. At number 5, we got Eddington by Ari Aster. Really divisive essay on America, but I think it's worth the watch. Number 6, we got Oliver Lax's Sirat from Spain. An experience, a really nice movie, especially at the theater. At number 7, we've got Jafar Panahi's Palme d'Or. It was a long time coming for him, really well deserved. It was just an accident. At number 8, we've got this year's Oscar winner for sure, One Battle After Another by Paul Thomas Anderson, which I think is just, he's PTA. He's amazing. Then at number 9, we got Sentimental Value by Joachim Trier, the second place at Cannes. What a way to continue what he did with The Worst Person in the World. Amazing movie, personal, subtle, really touching. And at number 1, and I think it's just a crime this movie was overlooked in many awards, it's Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. What a really, really complex and aesthetically beautiful movie. What a great year for films. Thank you guys so much. That's my list. We love you. Bye.
Ricardo! Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much for that. That's a wonderful email. I had a wonderful email exchange with Ricardo this year.
Lovely.
Where we talked about movies, Romanian cinema. I think at some point, I don't want to blow up your spot, Ricardo, but I know there was a
but you're going to.
But there was like a dating situation happening in Ricardo's office that Ricardo was trying to get in on.
You're really spilling some tea here.
I was like, I was suggesting movies. I can't recall exactly what happened at that point, but he mentioned,
you blacked out.
He mentioned that he mentioned us in the conversation of that courtship. I think.
Amazing.
I gotta hear how it all went out. So again, thank you, Ricardo.
Ricardo, excellent fucking voice quality and tenor you got going on there. I don't know what your mic setup is, but it was really lovely.
He could be a podcaster, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. At this point, I've started making logs of every movie that's coming out because we do want to say which film won the podcast.
That's right.
And right now, I can tell you it is a 3-way tie between.
It's too early.
One Battle After Another, No Other Choice, and Sentimental Value.
Okay,
it is
great.
A 3-way tie.
Number 9, I guess I go for. Are we going to continue going flip-flopping back and forth?
Yeah.
This is a film that I never thought for its subject matter would end up on a top 10 list for me.
Okay.
Because traditionally, it's just not my bag.
Okay.
However, this was a different story, and I was shocked by it, and it is a little bit of controversy in my own household about it.
Okay.
My number 9 film for 2025 is Superman.
Okay. Oh, wait. Controversy all around here.
Well, so
wait, how is this not normally on your top 10 list?
Because I don't like Superman movies.
Oh, but you do like superhero movies.
I like superhero movies, but no even the Reeves films. Like I acknowledge that they are good. I never hunt them out. They're just not. Superman as a character,
right,
is so rarely interesting to me. And I think the thing that makes Superman interesting is when you because as a character, unless you are an exquisite writer, and I know there's been multiple comic book arcs where people have done it. There's a reason why he's one of the most popular superheroes in the world. It's so hard to write an interesting story around him, and you need a lot of other supporting characters, in my opinion, to play off the fact of his humanity and what makes him sort of more human than a lot of humans on the planet. And I feel like James Gunn just understood the assignment. I feel like he unlocked something that, like, there's a lot of what some might even call like cheese in that Superman, but there is a real there's so much heart in this movie. It really, out of all of the Superman films that I've seen, I think I've seen them all. Mm-hmm. This one really makes it clear that his real superpower is actually his humanity and like what he actually cares about and why.
And he says that out loud in the movie.
He does.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of cheesy, but like, you know, the sentiment of maybe kindness is punk rock, especially now in the world that we live in. It affected me a lot. And the reason why I said it's controversial in my household is because I showed it to Jamie and she fucking hated it. And listen, I understand people have pacing issues with it. There's a lot of stuff you could say wrong about it, but I think the emotional core of that film hit me a lot harder than I think that's really what it is. It hit me harder than I was expecting it to. Superman movies have always seemed to pull their punches with me, and this time it just socked me straight in the emotional jaw.
I was talking to a friend who's also been on the show a while today, and we were talking about Superman. We were talking about Returns, the Brandon Routh film, the Bryan Singer film, and then Man of Steel. And I where I came down, this is a weird hot take, is I am a Man of Steel apologist, I guess, at this stage. And after watching James Gunn's Superman, which is a movie that I've only seen the one time, which I think has a fantastic needle drop at the end of it, is not a movie I really, really...
Which is totally fine.
And I was excited to see that movie because I like Superman movies.
Yeah.
And I went to see it in a theater with my son, with a bunch of kids, with my best friend from New Zealand, who, like, he and I are the guys who go see this kind of movie at midnight. And I think we both walked out of the way and went like, what was that? Like, what was that movie?
It was great. It's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think, side note about Man of Steel, I don't think Man of Steel is a bad film. Yeah. I think Man of Steel is a film that makes 2 or 3 huge mistakes in it that stand out and break the rest of it for me.
Okay.
But regardless, that's not on my list. Superman, the 2025 film is. That's my number 9. Sheer, what about you?
My number 9, if I'm moving so fast between different tabs here, is a movie that is being publicly lauded in many venues this year. Despite not being a financial success. It is a movie that just won Best Picture last night. It is One Battle After Another. I absolutely adore Paul Thomas Anderson. I just, without a doubt, I think he's one of the greatest filmmakers to have ever lived. He has made 3 or 4 of what I consider the greatest movies ever made of all time. And I might be biased in saying that because I watched them like as they were released in movie theaters and then had managed to like survive long enough on this planet to see those movies evolve into the place that they have become. One Battle After Another is not one of those movies for me. I think it's an excellent film. And I think he is now working on a scale that he has not worked at before. It is, I think, a $200 million movie in that vicinity. And it is, you know, as we talked about on the podcast, it is his most out and out action movie. It is a straight down the line action movie. You know, I kind of dubbed it Stoner Fury Road. And I've watched it 2 or 3 times now, and it is a banger of a movie. And I think it really, really works well. The reason it's this far low on my list, despite having just won Best Picture, is that I find that the more I rewatch it, the more I think it works better. This is a weird thing to say, but I find that it's politics about revolution. It's examination of revolutionary politics as it kind of likes to explore in the movie, as it kind of like suggests with the reference to the Battle of Algiers in the movie, is a little loose and a little like unclear in terms of like how the politics of this actually all works. That's not to say the movie has to do that. That's something that Paul Thomas Anderson has done his entire career. You know, The Master is a movie about Scientology, but not really a movie about Scientology. There Will Be Blood is about the oil industry, but not really about the oil industry.
It's about milkshakes.
It's about milkshakes. And I find that One Battle After Another, the more I watch it, the more I kind of feel that it doesn't quite work in that regard. I think, though, where it does really work is in this sort of trio between Chase Infinity, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Sean Penn. And I think it's an incredible Sean Penn performance. I think it's a really great Leonardo DiCaprio performance, a really fun, like Big Lebowski-esque Leonardo DiCaprio performance, and a really great Chase Infinity performance that is mirrored by Tiana Taylor as well. And I think that's where the movie really works. And then, you know, again, we just talked about the Best Director win here. It is doing so much, and it does so much really well. It does action better than most movies ever will. It does, you know, climactic, dramatic showdowns between 2 characters better than most movies ever will. It really is firing on all cylinders, and is a wonderful thing in it, which is that like the 3rd time I watched it now, the logic of the ending in no way makes any sense. Like there's no way to understand the logic of the ending in any sort of rational way.
Yeah.
However, the movie is so propulsive and works so well and so kind of reptilian in its kind of like execution in terms of like, this is just a pure driving force that is happening at this point, that you absolutely go with it. And like every time I watch it, I go, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But also this is wonderful. Yeah. It's incredible.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Cool. Number 9's In the Bank.
And I have put it on the list now, which means it is leading the award.
Boom. We have our next TOPAM fam top 10. This is from William. Take it away.
Hello there. It's William from Malaysia. Very long time listener and first time caller. Doing a quick drop in while at work to send y'all my last minute top 10 of 2025. The Academy Awards is happening right now, completely on my own free will. I swear Shahir had nothing to do with this. I'm dedicating my list to you, Matt. Congrats on your marriage. Here we go. Number 1, One Battle After Another. Number 2, Sinners. Number 3, All That's Left of You. Number 4, It Was Just an Accident. Number 5, Sorry Baby. Number 6, No Other Choice. Number 7, Sentimental Value. Number 8, Resurrection, written and directed by Bi Gan. Number 9, Left-Handed Girl, directed and co-written by Shi Qingzhou and Taiwan's submission for the Academy Awards Best International Feature. And lastly, number 10, Homebound, written and directed by Niraj Gewan and India's submission for Best International Feature. That's the list. I gotta get back to work. Can't believe I've been listening for over a decade. Thanks for the company. Love y'all. Take care.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, look at that. Look, he even congratulated your wedding.
I know. Well, it was dedicated. I accept your list and thank you humbly for it. So you've been here a while.
So William and I chat regularly on Instagram. He often posts movies that he is watching, and I'll comment on those. You know, he'll comment on movies I've been watching. Well, I feel like I've got a sort of a really great friendship for a person I've never met.
Yeah.
And they're like, I, as he mentioned there, I nudged them and I was like, look, I would just love to hear your voice and see the movies that you've been doing. He watches so many great movies. He's got lots of great insight. Obviously he was emailing us from Malaysia, so release schedules are very different there. He mentioned Bi Gan's film Resurrection. We did Long Day's Journey Into Night on the podcast a while ago. Resurrection has appeared on so many top 10 lists, along with Homebound as well. So these are all movies that I've added to the movie mentions of this week and of this year, and hopefully we will get to at some point.
Awesome.
Thank you again, and just fantastic to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's great. I love hearing. Obviously, from our TOPAM fan, we've heard of from before, but it's always really nice to hear your voices when we haven't before. Speaking of voices that you may or may not have heard of before, it is now time in the show to cut away to the magical December times when there is a party that I throw and I drag everyone into the podcasting studio and I make them tell me their favorite film that they watched for the first time in 2025. Now, quick disclaimer. They're going to go in chronological order on the show to go through them. I get progressively more inebriated. I'm just this first one. I'm fairly even keeled. Yeah. But this first one is Dave, founder of Nebula, Alex, low spec gamer, and my lovely fiance Jamie. Take it away, you three. Okay, everybody. I am here with Dave, Jamie, and Alex, and we are talking about their favorite movies that they have seen this year. How are all of you?
You have a WWE announcer.
I like to think that in another lifetime, Matt was like in full command of a shock jock radio station.
Could still be this left.
I have no idea.
I'm over here like, hey, we're all going to get tote bags.
You're like monster trucks. Get ready to get fucked. We've had 4 cops show up to this party and we are going to rage.
That's true.
Someone kicked our door in. It's weird. We're not talking about that. We're talking about your favorite films of the year. Alex, I want to start with you. And I think, do you and Dave have the same?
We have the same pick.
We have the same pick. So from people in our friend group, I'm probably one of the more casual ones regarding movies. So when I go to watch something, it's usually because it's an IP or something that I'm already previously interested in. And this year I got exhausted of that. I just was completely exhausted with cinema. And my wife basically dragged me because she wanted to watch this film. And it was like a fresh water on the face in a moment of cynicism.
Wow.
It was I would agree with that.
Yeah, it was such an interesting premise, and the sort of movie that all through it you're like, it makes you think about decisions that you're making right now, and also being like, I don't know where I want this to end. Like I keep changing my mind on how I wanted this movie to end, and it engaged me.
Okay, here's the question. We haven't said the name of the film yet. Dave, do you want to talk about the movie again before we talk about the name of the film that you're talking about?
Are we talking about the 2019 film Serenity starring Matthew McConaughey as a man named Baker Dill who's trying to catch a fish named Justice?
God damn it, we are not.
Oh, okay.
I think you might have walked right into it, but I'm not sure you actually did.
No, I know what movie we're talking about, but I won't say the name yet. And this movie was shockingly smart, shockingly good, so cleverly handled.
We have not said the name yet.
Should we?
Wait, on the count of 3, I need both you and Alex to say the name of the movie. 1, 2, 3.
Eternity.
Wow. Okay, so I have not seen this movie
It's
yet. Jamie,
so good.
I don't believe you have either.
I don't actually know what
It's
we're
Elizabeth
talking about.
Olsen.
Miles Teller.
Oh, yeah.
And you would think this is like kind of a wacky, dumb rom-com premise. It is so smart.
All right.
It is very well. I would describe it as a Challengers meets The Good Place.
Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
good with
fucking
That's a good pitch, yeah.
I like it.
In tone, in cleverness, in every possible. I cannot recommend this movie enough.
All right. Okay, so you both have done that. Jamie, you were in the middle of these two fine gentlemen. What is your favorite film that you've seen in 2025?
Matt, I'm going to hijack the concept just a bit because I thought through the different movies that I wanted to talk about tonight. And there is something that links all of them. So if you'll allow me a small
Please, go
monologue.
forth.
Okay, the first one, Black Bag. I saw it twice. The first time I saw it, I went with my friend Sammy.
You hated it.
We hated it.
You monster.
I mocked it the whole time. I thought it was totally stupid. And then I left the movie and I was still like, rah, rah. I was mad about it. I was criticizing it. And then I went to dinner with several friends. Alex, I believe you were in that group. And everybody at the table was like, a fantastic movie. And I wanted to defend because I love hating something. And I wanted to defend myself. The waiter walked by and said, "Are you talking about Black Bag? Best movie of the year." And I was like, what the hell? So I went back alone and I watched Black Bag. And it is better than I thought. But it played into a concept that I absolutely love, which is movies change so heavily depending on who you see them with and when you see them. I love it. So viewing a movie is an art in itself, and that's why I wanted to talk about Black Bag. I also have to talk about Frankenstein.
You have to pick one.
No, I can't. We went to the Paris theater to see Frankenstein, and it was this incredible theater experience because it was everybody who was so focused on seeing Frankenstein. And then, okay, I won't even say the movie that was last because the point of the movie.
Pick one.
But there was a movie that we saw recently that was very devastating and excellent, and it was so good, you guys, that when I left the theater, I had to like reorient myself to space and figure out where the bathrms were. Because
Was it the
so
2019
knocked
film
aside.
Serenity starring Matthew McConaughey as a man named Baker Dill?
It
Trying to catch fish named
was.
Justice?
It was. No, it was Hamnet.
I haven't seen
And-
it yet. I'm going to a screening.
Hamnet has been pulled from a lot of theaters, or at least not released to that many theaters. And it's this hearkening of theaters not getting these wide releases that they used to, even for really exceptional pieces of art. Everyone has to go to movie theaters because they are a beautiful place where you can go experience a piece of art that in a way that is very different from other pieces of art. And it's important that they stay alive. And Netflix is going to shoot a crossbow through the
We come to
head
that place
of
for
movie
magic.
theaters.
We do.
We do come to that place for magic.
Thank you,
So
Nicole.
we just go to movie theaters. Go to movie theaters. Don't let them die.
Dave, Alex, thank you for understanding the assignment and picking your favorite movie of the year that you've seen. Jamie, thank you for picking 3.
You can't kick me out. I live here.
I can't. All right. Thanks, everybody. Moving on. Back to me. Thanks, me.
You're welcome. In that, I want to point this out. Jamie makes this comment that this really goes to highlight who you go to see a movie with and how it can affect you. I want to point out, I was in the theater when she watched Black Bag for the first time. And I was one of the people that came out and I chatted to her about how amazing it was. And she was, and I'm hearing like she just disagreed with me entirely, but just needed a group of people to gang up on her. and
peer pressure is a powerful
but
thing.
apparently not peer pressure from me, who thought that movie was miraculous.
You are but one man, Shahir. That is, you need a power of 5 other people and a random waiter.
And a random waiter.
It was so funny when that waiter walked by. You're talking about Black Bag? Best movie of the year? And I was like, Jesus Christ.
There you go.
All right, we're moving on to number 8.
Number 8. This is our number 8.
Our number 8.
I'm getting so confused at this point.
Don't
this
worry
is your
about
number
it.
8 first.
Yeah, my number 8 first. But you know what? I'm not even going to do a preamble because it was Ricardo's number 8 as well.
Okay.
Do you remember what Ricardo's
No,
number
I
8
don't,
is?
actually.
The Secret Agent, motherfucker. I could not believe how much I loved The Secret Agent. it kind of came out of nowhere for me. I believe it was the last Oscar nom for Best Picture that I saw, like, and in the list, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
And for the podcast, I was absolutely blown away by what is essentially a 2 hour and 41-minute film that feels to me like it was an hour long.
Right.
I loved it. I'm going to totally butcher the director's name. Can you say it correctly, Sheer?
Kleber Mendoza Filho.
Thank you. And also the writer. It was just it felt like a type of movie that I had not seen in ages, maybe if ever. Like it felt almost like a documentary, even though I knew it was not. And it kept me riveted the entire time. I also got to, I think also where you see a film also matters. I went and saw that at the Cobble Hill Cinema back in my old neighborhood, which was really, really nice. And I don't know. There was something about this movie that, like, this feels like a yearly watch for me. Okay. I feel like it's just going to get better with age. It's also like just super spanning. And the fact that there are like essentially like real people in it is just and they blend seamlessly, which is very, very nice.
Yeah, I think for me, this movie was an intellectual. It sort of falls into the same category as sentimental value, which is that I really enjoyed it. It felt I think I engaged with it more intellectually than I did emotionally, and that's always sort of kind of a sign of whether it'll end up in that sort of top spot.
Yeah.
But if you enjoyed that film, you should absolutely watch Pictures of Ghosts.
Oh yeah,
his documentary about the town he grew up in, includes the movie theater, includes a lot of the stories of the characters that appear in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And he cast them so perfectly, so lovingly. So I think that's really fascinating as well. So it's a great choice. A really revered film, a lot of people's favorite film of the year as well. My number 8 movie of the year was one that I was just so surprised by, because I really felt like I was just going into a movie for the sake of, I was going into this movie because I was fed an algorithm. I was completely just fed the algorithm on this particular movie.
How? You don't watch trailers?
I received an ad for it on Instagram. That's how I got this movie. And I was like, I don't know what this is. It is directed by Seth Worley. It is a film that is made by what was previously a visual effects artist. And so, design-wise, it was really beautifully designed. But it is one that is emotionally heartfelt and really landed for me in the way that I think all kids' movies should. And that is Sketch by Seth Worley. Again, a film that I was so struck by. And, sort of in the same way with The Materialist, I kind of was like, I need to go back and rewatch this. So I insisted we do it on the podcast, because I was like, that movie wasn't just a surprise to me. It really got me in a place that I don't think a lot of movies got me in. And the second time around I watched this, which we did for the podcast, I found I was so struck by it in terms of how heartfelt it is. And then how much, while despite having incredible visual effects in it, and this is a huge thing to say for a first-time director, feels like young Spielberg,
Sure.
like in terms of like really understanding how to deploy visual effects in a really clever, creative, smart, and restrained way.
Yeah.
So I absolutely adored this film, and was excited for you to see it. Was excited for us to do it on the podcast. It was excited, like it felt like one of those discoveries that I just had to champion this year, that I just had to like.
I'm glad we did it.
Talk to everybody about. By the way, in that clip from Jamie as well, there was a movie of mention of a movie, Eternity, from Dave and Alex Losbeck. I want to get to that movie in a little bit. I have something to say about that because it is mentioned later in another email as well.
All right.
But yeah, Sketch finally
number 8
gets onto the roster
with a bullet. All right, we got another TOPAM fam, an old friend of the podcast, the one, the only Jonathan Blade, giving us his top 10 of 2025.
Hello, Matt and Shahir and the rest of my TOPAM fam. I don't have a top 10 for 2025, but I do have a top 5. So at number 5, we have Black Bag. British people weaponizing witty urbanity is my jam. At number 4, we have One Battle After Another, and it's number 4 because of Perfidia. I did not like that character. But beyond that, One Battle is thrilling, all caps, cinema. At number 3, we have Sinners. And for me, it's beyond the acting or the themes. as it was with Black Panther, in my opinion, Coogler's magic lives in the world building, and the magic of Sinners is the world that it is built. At number 2, we have Train Dreams, because the sublime melancholy of genuine manhood hits me in my emotional sweet spot. And at number 1 is Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, as I am a comic book guy, you'd be like, of course it's Fantastic Four First Steps, but hear me out. I haven't had one of these in my top spot, and maybe not on the list, since 2019. Superheroes as hyper-competent adults in a retro Kennedy-era technological utopia, allowing for a genuinely decent version of humanity, is a fantasy that I am surprised didn't resonate with more people. Once again, thank you, gents, for all you do. Just so you know, here in 2026, you're still my guys.
Thank you, Jonathan. Leave it to you to let me announce your top 10 and then be like, nah, I got 5.
Yeah. But also, I did nudge the Blade on this one. Another person that I interact with.
How many people did you bully into doing this podcast?
Oh, like everybody on this list.
I mean, I bullied everyone at the party, so
yeah,
I guess we're even.
We're just bullying people left, right, and center. It's
be our friends.
This is why our podcast is so wildly successful. But I really, I mean this with absolute sincerity. Jonathan Blade has got the voice of an angel. Like every time I listen to him, I'm like, this guy has got the best voice in podcasting and should be like, and he has his own podcast. I'm not sure if he's kept up with it at this point, but I do. Whenever he does post a podcast episode, I will listen to that.
Yeah.
So absolutely terrific there. And I don't agree with Fantastic Four, First Steps as being his best movie of the year or whatever, but everyone's entitled to it. And I absolutely agree with the way that Blade will rationalize this.
Yeah.
He's a very smart commentator, and I want to hear more and see more of what he does on the
We should
internet.
get Jonathan on as a guest at some point.
We should. Yeah.
It's criminal that we have not.
I know.
All right. Well, next up, we have more guests as I dive into being inebriated. This is Nick, Sammy, and Kaylee. Take it away, yous. Say hello, everyone, at the same time.
Hello, everyone, at the same time.
All right, so we're doing our classic end of the year 2025 favorite film that we have seen. I want to start actually with Kaylee. Kaylee is our wonderful downstairs neighbor who I am so sorry that my dog is terrible to you.
That's okay.
Laszlo. But Kaylee, Laszlo, I had to move to a different location.
But my cat keeps trying to break into your apartment, so.
Richard Parker is a delight, and every time I see him in the window, and I love him dearly, even though he has never met me once.
Yes, it is, Parker.
Kaylee, what was the favorite film that you saw in 2025?
So I can't think of my favorite, but I can think of one that I didn't like.
Your least favorite film you are breaking a tradition of 5 years. I love it. Please continue.
I was told by so many people to watch One Battle After Another. Best movie. So good. I watched it. It was fine. But I thought the only good part was that up and down car thing. The rest of the movie, I thought, whatever, way too long, and Leonardo DiCaprio has stopped acting. He has. He's just stopped acting. He's just who he is in a movie, and that's it.
Kaylee?
That is my
I want you to know that Nick is about to jump out the window.
You are the kindest monster I've ever met. What? Okay.
I haven't seen it.
That's just why I don't, it really stuck out to me because so many people tell me to watch it. I go watch it, and I'm like, it was fine.
Can I ask you, because you've never been on this podcast before, can I ask you what your cinematic proclivities are? Like, I want to get a baseline.
Well, because my favorite movie is Grease. So
Grease is great.
Whoa.
Grease is great.
I like this. I like
You're
this as our
looking at
contrast.
someone that is a huge fan of musicals, and Grease is my number 2 musical.
So you just going back to it, you just fucking hated it?
I didn't hate it. I just didn't understand. I watched it and I was like, it was hyped up so much more than was necessary.
That's the problem with hyped up movies.
My youngest brother called it a lesson in remembering your password. And that is all he took from that movie.
I will say this. You know what I'm pissed about that movie? And here's where I will agree with you. And then we will jump to the other folks at this round table. They released a version of that movie on fucking Fortnite, and I want to vomit.
What?
Yes.
There
is a version of it that you can play through on Fortnite where they replace Sean Penn's character with someone named Mr. Sunshine.
Why did they do that?
It's fucking atrocious.
That totally
and listen,
discredits it.
everyone
Money.
who knows, I run literally a YouTube channel about fucking goddamn video games, and I saw this thing and I was like, God damn it. It like poisons the entire point of the film, and I was very, very angry at it. So shitting on the marketing team of One Battle After Another, I will happily agree agree with you, Kaylee.
Wow.
I did really like the movie. Sammy, what do you got?
Okay, mine is.
You're more sober than you normally are right now.
You're welcome. This year did not wow me. I haven't been in the theaters in forever. The best I got is I rewatched Lord of the Rings for the umpteenth time. So I'm going to go with my most recent film that I really enjoyed, which was Boiling Point. And it's a lovely film. Not lovely. What am I saying? It's a very stressful film. And it starts Stephen Graham. For those, did anybody watch Adolescence on Netflix? Yeah. It was fantastic. All one single shot. The dad in Adolescence is Stephen Graham. Before they did Adolescence,
he was like one of the best parts of Adolescence.
Yes, he was also one of the creators, and it's like one of his shows. And he did that with the director that I think the first time, I don't know if it was the first time, but before they did that, they did this movie called Boiling Point. It's fantastic. It actually is one shot. I did a deep dive. They rehearsed it forever, and they did only about 4 to 8 takes. And they picked it on day 2. They filmed it like right before the pandemic. And it is all takes place in a restaurant. They actually cook the food. And it's one night at a busy restaurant where it opens and Stephen Graham is the head chef and owner of the restaurant and very troubled. And you see everybody's past and you like walk. The camera does not stop. It's like a play. Yeah. And it's incredible and it's stressful and it's interesting. And they follow him in the kitchen and the staff and on the floor and bad customers. So anyways, the whole movie is one shot. It's incredible. It was really interesting. And it was a really great representation of one night at a restaurant and the busyness of it. And it's called Boiling Point, and you can find it on BritBox on Amazon.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, sober Sammy.
You're welcome.
Nick, take us home, buddy.
Guy Pearce. Guy fucking Pearce.
Still?
The brutalist, motherfuckers.
Yeah, but that was forever ago.
I saw it.
You saw it this year?
I saw it January 15th.
Okay.
2025.
Is that why you were on your phone? Because you keep track of when you watch movies?
Yes, because I wanted to confirm that it was, in fact, this year that I saw it.
How did you confirm that?
Excuse me, everyone. I'm an AMC A-list member. Yeah. So Guy Pearce is a gem that many people forget about. More so, supported by Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody?
Amazing.
I love Adrian Brody.
This was one of the most beautiful cinematic pieces of film you'll ever fucking see in your life. It is very, very similar to the hill scene in the desert. No, I'm not joking.
I guess I could.
But that was the only scene where I was like, I'm really glad I watched this movie.
Hands down, The Brutalist is my favorite movie of this year that I watched this year.
I love it.
This was good. Hey, all of you, thank you so much for being here and being remotely sober for this discussion.
And now back to Matt.
I think I was there when Nick saw The Brutalist. I didn't go with
Are
him.
you there when we all see movies? Are you in our hearts?
Basically, I'm outside every movie theater at all times for every session.
Wow.
No, I do remember because Nick and I share a sort of unbridled passion, not a heated rivalry, for There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson's film. So I was surprised that I was expecting him to say One Battle After Another. I haven't talked to him about One Battle, so I don't know what his feelings are about One Battle.
Yeah.
But I remember I remember seeing The Brutalist and then going in to talk to Nick and saying, Nick, you have to see this movie.
Yes, I do remember you saying that too.
And it was like, this is your movie and you should absolutely see it. And this is why we stagger the podcast, because that is technically a 2024 movie that he just saw
in 2025.
In 2025.
But he saw it.
And if we did the same thing, The Brutalist would be on this year's list.
But it was on last year's list for us.
But if we did the best of at the time that you want, we wouldn't have seen The Brutalist, and we would have seen it this year. That's my point.
Okay.
So
it doesn't matter as long as it's not twice.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So I have added The Brutalist to the list. Probably the only mention on this podcast.
I think The Brutalist is going to win.
It's odd. One battle after the. I don't like my scoring system is a mention is a point.
Okay. Now,
Kaylee Kaylee mentioned, but this is kind of like ranked choice voting.
Can we just decide right now if it actually knocks one off?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to wonder. No.
I think it should.
No, because she was given the option to discuss one film that she wanted to discuss, and she made a choice.
I agree with you in sentiment and theory, and we can keep going. I just think it'd be more fun.
Yeah. Well, look, at this point, it wouldn't even matter.
I know that's why it's fun.
Because there's this thing, which is that most people have seen One Battle After Another and are going to talk about One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
So it is going to get the most mentions, and it is by proxy winning.
Well, here we go. Why don't we get to, we got one more thing before we jump back into we have so many friends that decided to talk to us for this thing. We're going to talk to Jacob of the TOPAM fam and see what his top 10 of 2025 are.
Hey, it's Jacob. I wanted to start off with some special mentions of 2024 Oscar-eligible movies that I didn't get to see until their wide release in 2025. That is I'm Still Here, The Brutalist, and The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Now into the top 10 from the bottom up, we have Sentimental Value, Begonia, Materialists, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Train Dreams, and rounding out the top 5, we have Sketch. Really, really good original family adventure film. I think we need more of those. Number 4, we have Sinners, this year's blockbuster must-see film event. I can't wait to rewatch it and see the scene again. Number 3, Sorry Baby, a directorial debut full of moments, full of feeling that unfold into something really impactful. Number 2, Parthenope, a sumptuous and mysterious and probably a bit overwrought coming-of-age film that just hit me at the right time early in the year. And at number 1, The Life of Chuck, a beautiful adaptation of the Stephen King short story that steps right up to the line of being too earnest and sentimental, but stays on the right side of it. Thanks for a lovely year of potting.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob. I actually was fortunate enough to meet Jacob this year, which was really, really lovely to actually be able to put a name to a face.
I was sad I couldn't make that.
Yeah.
Also, I love how you said that would be the only mention of The Brutalist, and the next thing we listened to is the mention of The Brutalist.
But this is also why I love like inviting people in to talk about this movie. There's so many movies to be mentioned here. Parthenope.
I know, keep it in.
Parthenope is Daffy Duck Suddenly Into Dinner is a new film by Paolo Sorrento. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It is really kind of ostensibly this weird from what I've seen of the images and like the partial trailer I've seen. It looks like this sort of leery, lurid film about the most beautiful woman on the planet and the loves that you go to. But Paolo Sorrento is Sorrentino is a filmmaker I absolutely adore, and I think like I would be here just to see what he does with this story.
Sure.
And so I'm really glad Jacob mentioned that one. Yeah, so many other great choices. A lot of first mention of The Life of Chuck, a Mike Flanagan movie that we didn't get to do on this podcast. I really wanted to see that this year because one of that thing that we do on the podcast, which is like championing filmmakers. And Mike Flanagan, I would say, is one of our great success stories, which is that we saw a movie that he did called Ouija 2 Origin of Evil, and then like followed his career all the way through, including some of the incredible TV shows that he did. One of your favorite was the Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. So a filmmaker that I think is just like really exploded. And I wanted to see this particular Stephen King adaptation, that it's not a horror film for one, and one that kind of speaks to, I think, an underlying theme of Mike Flanagan's horror, which is that his horror is very beautiful, optimistic, and about life. So it'd be interesting to see a film that he does that is not ostensibly a horror film, but like kind of like, more in the Stand By Me mode of Stephen King. So again, adding it to the list, chalking it up to the board,
Good. There we go. We're moving into our number 7s.
Our number 7s. You going first?
I'm going first.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact. My number 7 has not been mentioned yet on your chart.
Okay.
It is a film that I thought I would like, but I didn't know I would love. It also is, if I'm just double checking, sort of it's almost the last of its kind on my list.
Okay.
It is a film that reminded me why I liked a type of movie in a time when I was losing sort of faith in them. And that is the wonderful, wonderful film Thunderbolts Asterisk. I have fallen off of the Marvel train. It's funny, I liked Fantastic Four, but then I watched it a second time and it did not click with me the second time. And Thunderbolts reminded me like sort of the magic of between action and comedy that these things can kind of be while also still having a heart in it. I think that God, the way like the way that Florence Pugh just sort of like owns the MCU now is lovely to see. And seeing her with this cast of people, and specifically Lewis Pullman, who played the Sentry, who I thought they would butcher the Sentry. The Sentry is one of my favorite Marvel characters. And I think they did a phenomenal job bringing them into the MCU, and I'm curious what that will move forward. This has been the first Marvel film that I have both enjoyed and has piqued my interest of what's to come. And in a long time, since Endgame. I've liked other ones, but it has like I think Shang-Chi is probably one of my other favorites from the after times. But like the after credit scene in Shang-Chi did not pique my interest. I was like, I was hoping I'd see Shang-Chi again, and we fucking still haven't. But it sort of moved my needle of what's going on in the world. And I really, really enjoyed it. I was shocked how much I did. I knew I'd like it. I didn't know I'd love it.
It's a film I also enjoyed at the time of watching it. I think I found myself, as you can go back and listen to that episode. I think there's a thing that happens with Marvel movies, which is when they usher you out of the movie theater, they're always trying to sell you, exit through the gift shop kind of thing, which is they're trying to sell you on the next movie. And that is a point at which in Thunderbolts in particular, I kind of felt a little bit like, I don't care. I like what you did here, but I don't care about where this is all leading, which is like the new Avengers, all that sort of stuff.
I think one thing I kind of didn't hark on here, just sorry to chime in, but I think also I liked it that it wasn't that there was like, obviously the Sentry Void dichotomy is there, but the real villain in this movie is guilt and grief. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I really liked and I thought was very powerful. Like, yeah, it doesn't necessarily end in a full-blown punch knockout. Like a hug literally ends it. Like not since Doctor Strange, Dormammu, I've come to bargain has there been, I feel like, a more story-wise poignant and not punch fest to end one of these things. And I think that's what got me excited more about these characters later, is I'm hoping that they're handled in this way in other movies because I like it when they have that level of depth and it's not just completely surface level.
My number 7 movie, just also pointing out, and for listeners, I'm very aware that this is chaos. What we're trying to do. What
are you talking about? We're an hour and a half in and we're only on number 7.
And there's no way to keep track of this. I'm gonna just quickly back up through the list, and I'll do this periodically through. My number 10 was Materialist. My number 9 was One Battle After Another. One Battle After Another. My number 8 was Sketch. My number 7 is Black Bag, a movie that has been mentioned a few times here, and I think could get mentioned quite a bit because it is one of those ones that I think genuinely everyone, except for Jamie on the first time, loves this movie. Because for a few reasons. One, Steven Soderbergh just makes it look so easy. And it's really frustrating. He's made so many movies at this point that he's like sharpened his tool, to use a poor metaphor here, to the point that it's just like a razor blade. Like he makes films so precisely, so quickly, so effortlessly. In fact, this was the second movie that he had released this year. The other was Presence, which does get mentioned later on in this episode, which was also a fantastic point of view horror film. Well, not really a horror film, point of view ghost film that also came out this year. That was like just like an incision point in terms of how quick and effective it was. But coming back to Black Bag, this is also a David Koepp script, I believe, and who also wrote Presence. And it does this incredible thing. It is one of the most deliriously sexy relationship movies ever. It is a don't fuck with my marriage kind of movie. And it, and keeping with that theme that I thought about, like our past can become our future. This is a film where a couple has really made a decision throughout the course of this movie that they are going to hold on to the one thing that keeps them together, which is that their marriage is rock solid.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's
I gotta buy Black Bag.
And it's like, it's incredibly sexy, this movie. Like it is just like a deliriously, beautifully, wonderfully sexy movie.
Yeah, I'm getting that on 4K. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. It's so great. I wish I could dress like these people. I wish I could cook like Michael Fassbender's character makes a curry in this movie, although admittedly he does poison everyone. Spoilers for that movie.
What?
But just I am so, when it comes to Steven Soderbergh, like Paul Thomas Anderson, I'm just so in awe of what they do. Soderbergh shoots, directs, shoots, and edits these films, like to the point where the running gag is that he'll have a cut of the movie on the last day of the shoot. Yeah. Because he's been cutting it at night after every day shooting.
Amazing.
It's just incredible. And to make a film this good. Yeah. Under that sort of pressure. I think he's a factory and like I want everything that this factory makes.
Yeah, no,
he's like a fine tailor in London who just like has been doing this for
with a sharp tool.
With a sharp tool, a razor blade tool.
Okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of sharp takes, anyway, we're gonna go to our second email of the day from Jose. I'll read this one if you'd like.
Yeah, go for it.
Because he says, "Hey Shahir, excited for the year in review episode. Hope it's not too late to get in my top 10. Jose, spoiler alert,
You
It's
made
not.
It. You made it.
All right, start with number 10, F1. Though it was suspiciously similar to the plot of Top Gun Maverick, I would rewatch this one happily. Number 9, Marty Supreme. Seeing cocky Chalamet playing cocky Marty was quite intoxicating, agreed. Number 8, Materialists. Great New York movie. One of those where you can tell all actors had a blast working together. Number 7, Point Break. Yes, from 1991. Loved the 90s nonsense of Keanu Reeves' character jumping from a plane with no parachute. Number 6, Conclave. Unstoppable. I missed the House of Cards vibes so much. Number 5, Hamnet. Chloe Zhao came back in a big way. Though this movie destroyed me, few things have given me as much joy lately as the video of the cast dancing to Rihanna's We Found Love. Number 4, I'm Still Here. Equally as heartbreaking, as full of light and love. I was deeply moved by everything that happened in this one. Number 3, One Battle After Another. I could have watched hours and hours of car chases in the desert. Number 2, Sentimental Value. I waited for this one for years and it did not disappoint. I'm 100% on Joachim Trier. Number 1, Sinners. I'm not typically a horror guy, but I love all the stories that they're yet to be told in this genre. Also, Sinners has to have the best scene in any movie I've seen in a bit. Thank you and talk soon.
Jose, I don't know if you remember this. Jose, I believe this is correct, is the one time I have been recognized on the street for the podcast.
Oh, is that Jose?
Yeah, I believe that's Jose.
Amazing.
It's incredible. And so it's a lot.
God, I want that to happen sometimes.
I just want that so bad.
I want that so bad.
Just anyone who can see Matt on a street, stand outside, find him if you can.
Well,
follow him around. Come to his address.
I don't think that's...
Just go to the bathroom. Wait in the bathroom.
This is not an invite for that.
You will just see.
I mean, if you see me walking around New York City.
I think so many great choices here. Conclave, a movie that we did last year on last year's podcast, also fantastic. And Point Break. Of all things, the 1991. There was a remake of Point Break that came out last year.
Sure was.
That I don't think anybody saw. But so wonderful that he got to see Catherine Bigelow's original. At this stage, One Battle After Another is winning the podcast. Though Sentimental Value has crept up and is hot at the heels, as well as Black Bag and Sinners. So I think we might see some turnarounds as we continue the podcast.
We're going to see. Well, you know who might have a whole bunch of them?
Mm-hmm.
Our next Topam fam send-in from Anika.
Nice.
Hi, Matt and Shahir. Just calling in with another year of top 10. So excited to hear your folks' ranking. So yeah, this year was really difficult. There's so many good films, but I will share my list with you here. So at number 10, I have Hedda. At number 9, Hamnet. Number 8, One Battle After Another. Number 7, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And number 6, Sentimental Value. At 5, Modern Horror, which was a TIFF premiere, so hopefully being released this year. And at 4, Obsession, which is also TIFF release and is coming out soon, I believe. And then at number 3, K-pop Demon Hunters. At 2, Sinners. At number 1, Sorry Baby. That's my list. Thanks.
Anika, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's also, you know what I love about hearing from Anika is not only do we just love getting emails and voice memos from her, but she has started writing about film this year, and I have read many of her reviews, and I think she's a wonderfully talented writer. She got to go to TIFF this year. I will try to ensure that I put a link in there. If I don't put a link in this episode, I will make sure that we will share a link of your writing, because I think it's just wonderful to hear you write so eloquently, better than we're doing on this episode right now.
What are you talking about? It's only been 2 hours.
It has only been 2 hours, but I just want to shout out one movie that she mentioned there. I just talked about Steven Soderbergh and the fact that he put out 2 movies this year. Nia DaCosta, who did Hedda, also put out 2 movies this year. I heard such great things about Hedda, which is, I believe, streaming on Amazon Prime right now. Again, very sexy movie. And that's what I'm all about, really. But also equally sexy with a movie with one of the biggest dongs of the year was 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which I did see in theaters. And Nia DaCosta.
The dong will return in the Bone Temple.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we're seeing there, I think that Ricardo kind of mentioned this as well with Chloe Zhao, is that the experience of doing a Marvel movie, as far as Nia DaCosta and Chloe Zhao has kind of talked about it, was an interesting experience for them. I don't dislike what they did there, and I think it's actually really great that they went into those worlds. But I think those are 2 particular filmmakers that have benefited from having been there, done that, and moved on. And the difference between The Marvels, which was the Nia DaCosta Marvel movie, and 28 years later, The Bone Temple is remarkable. Like, it's just so striking. Again, just what a great film the 28 years later is. I'm looking forward to seeing Hida. So again, thanks for chiming in, Anika. Really appreciate those voicemails.
Yes. Moving on to more inebriated nonsense, we have at the White Elephant Party, Alexandra, Patrick, Willems, and Michael. Boom. All right, Alexandra, Patrick, and Michael. I need you to tell me, starting with Alexandra, what was your favorite film that you saw in 2025?
My favorite film was either Wicked Part 2 for good or After the Hunt.
Whoa. Okay. I need you.
Scorching hot takes.
I need you to pick one of them.
Okay, I'm going to pick Wicked Part 2.
Can I ask why?
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. A wonderful representation of what happens when you get to be an adult and realize that your dreams and hopes are not going to be what you wanted them to.
I fucking love that. I have to be completely honest with you. I'm a little bit flabbergasted because I've only heard, honestly, from people that I've talked to, like, negative things about it. But I love when movies connect with people. So it was because of, like, the becoming adult, like, you're out of college, you're in your fucking adult era, like, you're actually dealing with the shit of your life. Is that kind of like where you were coming from?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Not only that, you have these two journeys. You have Elphaba, who was an activist at heart. And she continues to be an activist at heart, but she realizes that her passion and her talent are not enough to enact change. She needs to be likable, and she needs to be, as the first movie taught us, popular to get somewhere. And on the other hand, you have Glinda, who has all of the right tools, all of the right connections to be a figure of change, but it's not in her to enact good. Until the very end of the movie, where she realizes that it's not important just to fake it. You have to actually make it. You have to be good.
Listen, I as a person who has faked it till they maked it, and then also multiple times I feel like failed doing so, I can relate to this.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Patrick, sir.
Matthew.
Hi, hello.
I'm back on the show.
Welcome.
So you want to know my favorite movie of the year?
That you've seen this year, Patrick, and you know the rules. It can be a movie that didn't come out this year. You just have to have seen it for the first time in 2025.
I know, and this is really tough. I have, as we've been talking, as Alexandra was talking, I'm going through my Letterboxd diary,
of course,
2025, being like, oh God, I didn't think I'd have to make my top 10 list until next month. And here's
this
the thing.
won't come out till February, so it's fine.
I know, but I will say I'm in a privileged position where I'm ahead of the game. I've seen Avatar, I've seen Marty Supreme, I've seen the things that are coming out in the next 2 weeks. And also, I think both of them are great.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do I talk about? Can I just shine a spotlight on what I think should be getting more discussion?
Patrick, I think because you have the crown of speaking on this podcast for the longest period of time.
I don't even want to talk because I might give him his
right. No, he's got it. So this is my point. I think Patrick, if anyone at this table can break the fucking rules, I think it's you.
Okay, I want to talk about the film Roofman.
Oh man. I have not seen it, but I want to.
Of course you haven't. No, Matt, this is not about you. This is about everybody.
I know.
Almost no one saw it. The movie starring Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, many other people, weirdly overqualified cast like Ben Mendelsohn.
Wow.
Is in it, Peter Dinklage, all these people. But it is a movie directed by Derek Cianfrance, the guy who made Blue Valentine, and basically who makes movies that are huge bummers and extremely serious, like The Place Beyond the Pines and stuff like that. And somehow this guy, for the first time in his whole career, chilled out, made a movie that I would describe as fun. Again, this is a movie is based on a true story about a guy who basically is
who lives in a Toys R Us,
kind of a thief,
yeah,
escapes from prison, and then lives for a year in a Toys R Us, just in the roof, basically.
Yeah,
it tracks. It's it's obviously obscene, but it makes sense that in 2025, shocker, San Francisco.
Yeah, right.
It's riveting. It is thrilling stuff, and it totally sticks the landing at the end. the audience is just so engaged and so into it that, again, a Times Square audience on a Monday evening.
And like total strangers, and you're all like on the same vibe.
I saw it alone, and the place applauded.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, again, this is a movie that I think everyone is going to catch up with in the next year or so. Roofman, the most underrated movie of 2025. I'm saying it right now.
Perfect. Patrick, thank you. All right, so take us home.
Begonia.
Begonia was dope.
Yeah.
Good movie.
I'm pretty sure it was like first couple weeks it came out. And it was like, I think for America, like a perfect, like, this is where we're at with like fucking men being at home too much and conspiracy theories and what can happen with conspiracy theories. And just mental health in general.
Yeah.
Like, I left. I was like, man, I don't think I'm crazy after all. Man.
Yeah, right?
Like, after that.
It's a great film. So I 1,000% agree with you. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about your favorite films of 2025. Now, hey, Shahir, say something smart.
What do we? I like Avatar: Fire and Ash. No, it's interesting. You know, there was a lot of thoughts going through my head as they talked about that. As Patrick talked about Roofman by Derek Cianfrance. Derek Cianfrance made one of my favorite movies, The Place Beyond the Pines, and one of my favorite TV shows. I know this much is true. And the story of him doing a film like Roofman is not unlike David Gordon Green coming and doing Pineapple Express after making several years of movies that were kind of bummers.
Yeah.
One of my favorite being George Washington.
Boom.
And then I can't remember who the first person was, but was talking about trying to choose between Wicked for Good and After the Hunt. I know you had a conversation about Wicked for Good, but After the Hunt is a Luca Guadagnino film. And Luca Guadagnino made one of the greatest movies that we have done on this podcast, Challengers.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we've been following his career for a while. My personal favorite of his is I Am Love. And also we did Call Me By Your Name on this podcast as well. But, you know, the Luca Guadagnino has done two more movies since Challengers that we have not discussed on this podcast. One being Queer with Daniel Craig.
Oh yeah.
And After the Hunt with Julia Roberts. These are huge movie stars, massive movies by a filmmaker who is Oscar nominated, who like both Derek Cianfrance and Luca Guadagnino are fantastic in this respect, which is that I think every actor wants to work with them. He turned out one of the great performances from Ryan Reynolds. No, Ryan Gosling.
I was going to say what?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. And an incredible performance from Mark Ruffalo as well. And I know this much is true. So, you know, I think that there's this odd thing between both After the Hunt and Roofman here, which is that there are these mid-budget movies that are just disappearing into the ether.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great that we can talk about them on this podcast. I wish we had done full episodes on those. But maybe we will now because they're on the leaderboard.
They're on the leaderboard. We're at now our number 6s.
Is that where we're at?
We're at number 6.
I want to point this out. Before you do yours, we have had no overlap whatsoever this year. So
I don't think we're gonna. I'm gonna call it right now. I don't think we're gonna nail it in any of the same spots. We might have some overlap.
I think there's gonna be one. I know for a fact there's gonna be at least one movie that we're both
Sure.
Can I just recap your top 10 at this point?
I mean, if you want to, but they've already listened to it. This is very long.
No, I just want to go here. Predator, Badlands, Superman, The Secret Agent, Thunderbolts.
Yes. With now my number 6 is a film that multiple people have brought up that kind of came out of nowhere for me, but it shouldn't have due to the director's pedigree. I've loved many of their films before, and this one might be my favorite of all of them. I am, of course, talking about Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. This movie is... I have listened to our podcast about this movie. I never listen to our episodes after I edit them.
Yeah.
I've listened to this one because I wanted to hear just like I wanted more stuff. I'd listened to other people's podcasts about it, and then I ran out and I just listened to our podcast.
I can't imagine we said anything useful.
No, but like there's something that speaks to the day and age that we are sort of in right now, specifically, you know, automation and AI in the workforce and losing your job of something that you're qualified for, and what would you do to get it back? And obviously there's humor and farce and nightmare sort of in this entire thing, but the entire cast and crew that made this is so just dialed in on
Masturbating?
essentially not exacerbating, what's the word I'm looking for?
Masturbate?
Nope.
No. This is what I bring to the table, baby.
elevating or putting on display like a slightly plussed up version of the human experience of like frustration.
That's exactly how I masturbate.
No other choice. Number 6. Shahir, what about you?
I can't disagree with no other choice. Park Chan-wook has been just working at the top of his game. In terms of like talking about the fact that there are things that slip into the ether, Park Chan-wook made a TV show with one of the biggest movie stars on the planet that I feel like nobody saw.
I don't
know. The Sympathizer with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Park Chan-wook made that. I watched like 2 to 3 episodes of it. It was fantastic.
Did you fall off?
Yeah, I did fall off.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like, it's, you know, like he's making things that like, it's weird to me that Luca Guadagnino, Derek Cianfrance, Park Chan-wook are making things that are disappearing into the ether.
Yeah.
So that is wild.
But you know what's not going to disappear into the ether?
My number 6.
That's right.
My number 6 is a movie that has been mentioned in the podcast thus far that may come up again in several instances. But it is a movie that absolutely floored me in its kind of like simplicity in terms of what it is setting out to do, but it is the breadth of storytelling that is happening here. And that is Clint Bentley's film Train Dreams. A movie that I kind of like, that kind of swallowed me up in one evening, you know, like I sat down to watch it just to kind of, you know, to get a sense of it, and then found myself like, you know, like going through the whole thing, and then watching it again the next night, and then reading the book the day after that, and then just kind of like feeling like I had fallen into somebody else's life and was able to experience it from beginning to end. And I think what we discussed in that episode is this idea of the insignificant man whose life actually does have meaning.
Yep.
And that's a film that really, really stood out to me. And Steven Spielberg was at South by Southwest this week and was asked what was a film that particularly resonated with him this year. And that was the film that he picked out as like the one that he felt everybody should go out and see. And for Clint Bentley, who is a younger filmmaker, I think that must be an extraordinary feeling to have, to make a film that is so encapsulating. And you know, here's the thing about Train Dreams. If it wasn't for the Oscars, I have a sneaking suspicion this is a movie that would have like passed everyone by. Like, I do feel like this is a movie that like
this got a good bump.
It got a great bump because of the Oscars, and it's one of those movies that would have got left behind had it not been. Not because it's not wonderful,
right? But because of where does it go now in the current landscape?
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
because it's such a throwback movie.
1000%.
Yeah.
Next up, we have another TOPAM Fam Top 10 coming at us hot from Alex. Take it away.
Hi, this is Alex. My top 10, number 10, Thunderbolts. Number 9, Fantastic Four, First Steps. Number 8, Black Bag. Number 7, Marty Supreme. Number 6, The Secret Agent. Number 5, One of Them Days. Number 4, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Number 3, Sentimental Value. Number 2, Train Dreams. And number 1, my favorite movie of last year, Sinners.
Thank you, Alex.
I love Alex's list. It's so just like matter of fact, right out there, just like these are the movies.
Done.
And you know, again, mentioning a film, One of Them Days, which I heard was one of the funniest movies that came out this year. I believe Tiana Taylor is in it.
Yep.
Yes. And you know, like a great movie that again we just kind of like slipped off, quickly fell away. So great to get that mentioned. Sinners was a big play on there. And I'm going to call this out, but Alex was one of the people that called me out and was like, I hate materialists. So I was like,
well, Alex, I got to say, you gave me that Thunderbolts bump of now I think it's 2 votes on the thing for
and
Thunderbolts.
Fantastic Four gets a 3rd at this point?
No, we have to get Thunderbolts up. I need more people to do it. You know what? Maybe Tash, Chelsea, and Nando from Nando V Movies might give me a little bit of a bump. Let's see what they have to say. One of these will shock you.
Okay.
So I'm here with Tash, Chelsea, and Nando, aka Matt. I want to say this. I feel like, other than me, everyone here at this table is more sober than they usually are when we talk about movies on this podcast.
This is the first year that I remember doing this.
Chelsea, I will say you are by far the person that goes hard.
I'm going to take that as a compliment because what I think you're trying to say is that I'm eloquent even in a blackout.
Yes, that is what I am saying.
I think is.
But now you're not blacked out, and now you have to remember what you do for the rest of time. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Tash, would you please tell us your favorite film of 2025?
Man, I've been thinking about this all week.
Let's go.
And my favorite film of the year is Sinners.
Fuck yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why. I'm a musician, so okay, obviously there's a lot of music, but I almost cried in this fucking film, and it was the scene when they were kind of explaining the relationship between music of the past and music of the present, music of the future. That moved me so deeply, and I was like, I'd seen From Dusk Till Dawn. A lot of critics online have been claiming this is a ripoff of, and I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I watched it when it came out. I do not believe it is a ripoff because it is additive to the conversation, especially with the scene dealing with this musical bit that I'm talking about now and respecting the past while adding to the future. I never thought a scary movie about vampires could make me cry. Sinners #1. Let's go.
Boom. Dude, Sinners was fucking dope. Chelsea, what about you?
Well, I was having trouble deciding or remembering. Even in my sober state, sometimes it's hard for me to remember what I did even 3 hours ago. But your lovely future wife, Matt Krall, reminded me that I have a little bit of a loophole, that I did see an old movie for the first time this year.
Oh, fuck!
I saw Jurassic Park for the first time this year.
Chelsea had never seen Jurassic Park.
So Matt, Jamie, and me and my husband Tash, we all watched Jurassic Park for the it wasn't their first time, but it was my first time, and I knew it. So everyone listening is like, "What the fuck?" I know it doesn't make sense. I don't have an explanation. I don't have a reason. I used to have a shower curtain that was a portrait of Jeff Goldblum.
Of course.
Oh yeah, he's
There's
in that.
no reason that I haven't seen this movie, but apparently. I was watching Jurassic Park for the first time. That's it.
Well, can you even watch Jurassic Park for the first time as like an adult? Because I feel like if I had not seen it by now, cultural osmosis and like parodies and memes and stuff would have filled me in on Jurassic Park.
100%. That's a great point. And I think, yes, in some ways I felt like I'd seen it. And over the years, you see like this clip and that clip and you get the references 1,000%. But that was the first time I watched it in full.
Chelsea, I have 2 pictures of you from that evening. I have a picture before you watched Jurassic Park, and I have a picture after you watched Jurassic Park.
And you guys we'll post it on the blog.
It's two of my favorite photos of you because you can tell. You can absolutely tell. Nando, what was your favorite piece of cinematic media in 2025?
Okay. So I was torn between 2. One's the fun answer, but one's like also the fun answer, but I would say the realer answer. The first fun answer is, as a child of the 2000s, I loved the Final Destination movie that came out this year.
Okay. Let's go.
It was so well put together and like, it was very funny. Everybody in it was just good. It was solid. But the movie that I think is still my favorite movie of the year is, and it's like in that same vein, because I do think it is a funny movie, but is Weapons.
Weapons!
The only one I saw it more than once in a theater, and like it's just so good, and everybody in it has put down a great performance. It looks good, and you rewatch it and like enjoy more parts of it, and that ending is like really hard to beat in terms of exciting endings for movies this year.
Yeah.
Hey, all 3 of you, thank you so much for telling me your favorite films of 2025.
Thank you. Thank you for having us to talk about them.
Hey, Shahir, say something smarmy.
Final Destination is a series that deserves more pundits on the internet to expose, to expunge, or to say is a great movie. I you know what? It was funny. I've never seen a Final Destination movie.
Really?
And and I think that's fair to say because Chelsea had not watched Jurassic Park, and I think that kind of
evens it out.
Yeah, evens it out.
Also, I love Tash's connection with Sinners. Tash won a Grammy this year.
Yeah, that's right.
For Preacher Kids, I believe, for Best Contemporary Blues Album. He was on that album. So he I think like getting his take on it is really, really cool. It's always a delight hearing from all 3 of those fine folks.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I have to check the format here. Doop. Oh, we got one more TOPAM Fam Top 10 before we get to our halfway point. This is from Virginia. Hi, Virginia.
Hello. This is Virginia, and thank you for the opportunity to share my favorites from 2025. Number 10, Hamnet. Number 9, Predator Badlands. 8, Sentimental Value. 7, The Secret Agent. 6, One Battle After Another. Number 5, Pee-wee as Himself. 4, The Alabama Solution. Number 3, Train Dreams. 2, K-Pop Demon Hunters. And 1, Sinners. I also have a special mention. Definitely not a movie made this year, but American Werewolf in London. It was so funny, but no surprise because it was directed by John Landis. I guess I am glad I got stuck in England after that snowstorm. Thanks.
So there's a fun story here. Both Alex and Virginia are married. Virginia did get stuck in London and managed to watch American Werewolf in London. I believe on that trip. Maybe she'd seen it before. And actually 2 movies, Pee-wee as himself, the documentary, and The Alabama Solution, a movie that I have been wanting to see. In fact, one of our other listener emails is a listener who has also been on the show before, who has mentioned that they would love to discuss The Alabama Solution, which was nominated for an Oscar this week, and is, as I understand, a particularly harrowing look at the prison industrial complex. So thank you, Virginia, for chiming in. I believe Virginia was also another one of those people that was like, material is garbage. You know nothing about movies.
Wow. Shahir's very sensitive, everybody. Don't come at him. Don't stop it.
I know. And I will go out of my way to try and prove you wrong.
Well, if someone comes at me for my number 5, I will downsize their face with a shovel.
Whoa.
This is also a film that has not been mentioned by a single person in this entire 2 hours we've been yapping.
Okay.
This is a movie that a lot of movies I knew I'd like, but didn't realize I would love. I got to see this movie and had a Q&A with the director afterward, and it was absolutely magical. And I was enamored more so with this one than I think almost any other pieces of this person's work. I am, of course, talking about Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Now, I know that we have on the podcast disagreed about Wake Up Dead Man, or maybe disagree. Like, I think the fervor in which that I loved it, you could not follow me down that road.
I was not with you. I did not follow the preacher.
But that's okay. I love Rian Johnson's ability to take elements of essentially conflict in life, class, immigration, wealth, and now here religion, and spin them into murder mystery yarns with Benoit Blanc that make the world feel just like not only lived in, but like, I don't know, just so engaging and alive, even though, again, it is a bit more elevated than one would be. I think what I particularly like about Wake Up Dead Man is it's not about Benoit Blanc. Like, it is, and there's sort of elements in it that, like, you deal with him sort of dealing with his faith as well, but it is really about the characters in this town and at this parish, specifically Josh O'Connor's father Judd. That I don't know, every person here just sort of brought their absolute A game, and I got lost in it. I've now watched it twice, and I loved it more the second time I watched it. I find that that's a rarity for me in mysteries. And here it was just so much fun to watch everything and see all the little hidden bits. And like, I guarantee you I've still missed some, and I'll watch this movie a bunch more times.
Yeah, this was I've done this a couple times with Rian Johnson, which is like, I know his work is exquisite, and I know that he's such a fantastic writer director that when I don't fall in love with something that he's done, I actually always feel bad because I'm like,
on you.
This happened with The Last Jedi as well, where I was like, I think something's wrong with me at this point because I'm not into this. And
no, but we've had this discussion before about movies, right? Like we talk about movies. No, but like you can see something and know that it's done excellently and also have it not be for you.
No, that's not 100% it. I think what I'm trying to say here is that the thing with The Last Jedi that I said was like, oh, I really want him to be able to take what he does in a movie like Brick or Looper and make his own thing. And he did that with the Benoit Blanc mysteries. And I love the first two. I found that this one was the one that it just didn't hit me in the right way. Like I watched it and went, I think you're having a great time and everyone wants to do this movie and everyone's having a great time with this, but this is for me the point at which I am kind of like, losing some steam here in terms of like what your storytelling.
You
is.
hate seeing people have fun?
I do hate people seeing people have fun as much as possible.
Well, then what's your number 5, tough guy?
My number 5 movie is one that I'm sure will be on your top, on your list, if not at the very top. Now, again, we are at our number 5 and we have had no movies overlap whatsoever.
I think we're going to start getting into that.
Yeah, I would be shocked, I tell you, if this movie is not on your list at all, if not at the top spot. And that is Ryan Coogler's film Sinners, a movie which I logged as what I would potentially want to win the Best Picture Oscar last night. And it's, in fact, I've seen this movie 3 times now. We were talking about the fact that I'd watched Paul Thomas Anderson's films 3 or 4 times at this point, and I was like, that's a movie I kind of like a little bit less every time I watch it. This is when I watch Sinners every time, I kind of like it a little bit more. I talked about what the theme of like my list was, which was that the idea that our past is actually our future, and that could never be more encapsulated by the midpoint in this movie, midpoint of my list, the moment of this movie executed so audaciously, the moment that Tash mentioned here. It is an extraordinary moment where time collapses in on itself, where myth making, mythologizing, the fantasy element of this story kind of like folds in on itself alongside history and the relevance of music and the way it can connect the past to the present to the future. And it's such a sort of like, it's one of those moments in a movie that has been done before, by the way. Like, there are many movies that have done this kind of idea before, but very rarely has a movie and a filmmaker tapped into something so under the surface of what human beings are feeling at any given moment and done it in a way that is profoundly accessible to the masses, yet also at the same time experimental, a unique idea that requires people to kind of like give themselves over to the movie, and does it in like, a blockbuster fantasy vampire movie. And I think that's kind of Coogler's genius at this point. I went and saw Fruitvale Station in a theater before Ryan Coogler was Ryan Coogler. I knew it had won Sundance. I went and saw it with a bunch of people, and we were like, and all of us came out of that movie going, wow, that guy's really tapped into something with this particular movie. And then when he did Creed to follow up with that, was like, wow, this guy really knows how to tap into an audience at this point. And then with Black Panther, a movie that I didn't love, but there was no denying the kind of like, this guy's tapped in here. Mm-hmm. And I think, this is his greatest work at this point, and he's an incredibly young filmmaker who's got a lot of work to make ahead of him. I think also the movie's got flaws to it that I don't love. I think it's a movie that doesn't really know where to end itself and sticks around for just a little bit too long. But when everything is kind of working as well as it does, I kind of just go, yeah, all right, look, it's not where I think you should end this movie, but at the same time, you're not ruining the experience for me. I think you just love this movie and you love these characters and you just want to stay here. And I'm like totally fine with that. My hottest take is I also love Wakanda Forever. I think Wakanda Forever,
I think it's good.
It rules.
Yeah.
Like Wakanda Forever might be one of my favorite Marvel movies ever.
There we go.
And for the same reasons, I think this guy's so tapped in, and we got a lot to see from Ryan Coogler.
Yes, we do. You know who else we have a lot to see from, or at least to hear from?
Who's that?
That'd be Stephen Roberts.
There we go.
With another top 10 from a TOPAM fam. Take it away, Stephen.
What's good, guys? This is Stephen Roberts, longtime listener and first-time caller. Now, Shahir asked me to list my top 10 movies of 2025, but I'm busy, so I'm only going to give you guys one. On Being a Guinea Fowl by Zambian Welsh director Rangonyo Nyoni is my favorite movie of 2025 and quite possibly my favorite movie of all time. Bold, I know, but true. The film centers around a young woman, Shula, who discovers her uncle's body on the side of the road as she's returning home from a party. Without spoiling too much of the film, that discovery leads to several more as the woman and her family grapple with his passing, familial responsibility, and breaking family curses. I can already hear Shahir begging for more details, but no, it's currently streaming on HBO Max. Go give it a watch.
Steven says no, Shahir.
No, I'm denied. What I want. In fact,
thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much. Stephen has been on our show. Stephen was on our Sinners episode.
Yes.
To discuss this movie, and we were talking about him coming back for the Alabama Solution, but I saw him post about On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, a movie that I've been dying to see for a while, that has ended up on so many top 10 lists of the year, is a movie that has garnered extraordinary reviews from everyone that has seen it. So I've been dying to see this movie for a while. So when I saw that he was posting about it, I wanted him to chat about it because, again, I think it's just a great opportunity. This episode is a great opportunity to highlight movies that people may not have seen. If you have stuck around on this episode for hour 2 of this thus far, On Becoming a Guinea Fowl is a movie that I will push for us to do as an episode this year. And we'll hopefully I'll have Steven on to talk about. I haven't seen it before.
This episode could dethrone Patrick.
Oh, well,
we don't know.
I mean, if I talk slowly for the next 20 minutes, I think we could do this.
Next up, we have more White Elephant guests. This is Anastasia, Red, and Pat. Thanks, me and Shahir. Listen, I am here with 3 of the most, and dare I say, powerful people at this party. I am here with Anastasia, Red, and Pat. Hi, everyone. Everyone say hi at 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Perfect. Okay, Anastasia, could you tell me your favorite film that you saw in the year of Someone's Lord 2025?
My favorite film that I saw in 2025 was The Crow at Nighthawk.
Had you never seen The Crow?
I had seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a movie theater since
Interesting.
the 90s.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I forgot how funny it was. And it was so cool to have the theater experience for it again because it was packed. It was like sold out.
It was a DCP. It was
Fire
a digital
it up.
print. But
It was
fire
it up.
Fire it up.
Fire it up. Fire it up. Yeah, no, we know the thing.
But it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And it held up much more than I expected it to.
I have just bought the 4K Blu-ray. I have not watched it again yet, but I am dying to. I love that movie.
It's got like the best soundtrack. It introduced me to all sorts of music that I had no idea about because there was no internet when I saw this movie the first time.
Listen, I don't want to say that we're old, but we are.
Yeah.
Red, I'm going to end with you. Pat, what was your favorite film of 2025?
Hopefully I'm adding another vote to Sinners.
You are the second person for Sinners tonight. That means Sinners is in the lead.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I knew from the first time I saw it in February when it came out that it was going to be my pick for this year.
Yeah.
Like past Fantastic Four, past Superman, which I usually go for a Marvel or comic book type movie, but Sinners.
Red, I know that you do choose interesting films that people have not normally seen in 2025 traditionally in this exercise.
I have, but you know what? I am going a slightly different way.
Oh God.
Yeah. Sorry. But I did have honorable mentions. I had 3 honorable mentions. One of them was Sinners.
Great.
An honorable mention. So that's 2.5.
2.5.
My other honorable mention would be Wake Up Dead Man.
So good.
Wake Up Dead Man.
So
Wake Up
fucking
Dead
good.
Man. And the last honorable mention I have, the runner up. Actually, I just want to shout out Patrick Willems' The Dinner Plan. It counts as a short film. I have taken that in now more than once, and it goes well beyond competent filmmaking. It is a technically fantastically made film. It has personality and charm, and it doesn't feel like it's something that would be allowed to be made if it wasn't for the gang at Nebula. So shout out to the Nebula gang for being able to make that. So I'm going to do the completely mind-blowing for Red thing and say my favorite film this year honestly was Superman.
Wow, let's talk about it. You're the first person who's brought up Superman. I loved Superman. I don't normally like Superman movies. What about it?
Superman movies, or do you have a soft spot for Christopher Reeve?
I love the Christopher Reeve films, but they've never been mine. Like our friend Anthony is like, that's his thing.
It was that the film, it's fun, it's light, but it's also earnest.
Yeah.
It shows kindness in a way that as an adult I haven't seen on screen in a long time. I think one of the things that I loved about Wake Up Dead Man was there's also this moment where we see through our perspective character there and through Superman, other people reach out and show empathy, and to show empathy on film and have the audience experience empathy is such a powerful, often not used technique that when it's executed, and it's executed really well in Superman, It can bring you to tears, and it's not nostalgia tears. It's not, oh, what could have been tears. It's look at how powerful you can be.
Yeah.
And you don't need physical strength for that. The strength that Superman has is the strength of kindness and conviction. And that was an amazing thing to see realized physically on screen.
Yeah. All right. Hey, all three of you, thank you so much for fucking telling me your favorite films of 2025. Now, back to someone who's in more charge than me at this point when I've been drinking. That make sense? We'll go with it.
Hi, Shahir.
Hi, Red. Great to hear from you. What was it? Superman, the original Crow from Anastasia.
Yeah.
It was surprising that she mentioned that because I was thinking of the that she might have mentioned the remake.
No. Why? That has appeared on no one's best list.
Yeah, but here's the fun thing. Everyone who is a fan of The Crow should follow Alex Proyas on Instagram or Twitter. I'm not sure where he's at right now. He's spouting a lot of conspiracy theories these days, but he's an interesting character. Who obviously directed the original Crow and I want to say the 13th. No, Dark City was the other film that he directed as well. Look, at this point, I want to say Sinners has taken the lead.
Wow.
Sinners has rolled over the ambling hills of one battle after another.
Wow.
And it's still followed by Sentimental Value, and Black Bag is still on the heels, but it is a three-way shootout right now between Sentimental Value, One Battle After Another, and Sinners.
Pew pew. Well, my number 4 is not gonna move that needle. My number 4 is, I believe, Shahir, just checking my list here, our first crossover.
Whoop.
Do you want to take a guess at which one? So far you've done The Materialist, One Battle After Another, Sketch, Black Bag, Train Dreams, and Sinners.
I'm going to say it's not Sinners because I think Sinners is much higher on your list.
Okay.
I have a sneaking suspicion it's One Battle After Another.
Survey says... Train Dreams. I'm trying. I don't want to just keep saying the same things that people have said. This is the part where our numbers kind of, we say less and less.
Yeah.
Because people have already done it. But Train Dreams, for the short version is, made me remember how beautiful a film can look. There's many other things to talk about in Train Dreams, but the fact that it did not win Best Cinematography, and again, listen, Sinners did a phenomenal work as well in I think a different form of the medium, to be honest. Train Dreams feels like I'm looking out a window, and that is not easy, and that is incredibly impressive. And when the landscape of this sort of unremarkable man, as we've sort of said, is put on full display, the remarkableness comes from the incredibly full and vibrant world that we all move through every day. And it is a fucking masterclass. So I love Train Dreams so much.
Train Dreams is a wonderful film. We've talked about it before. Steven Spielberg's even extolled its virtues at this point. So I think we're good to move on from Train Dreams. As we say, the train has left the station with that one. My number 4 movie is also a movie that has rarely been mentioned on this. It has been mentioned in passing, and it is unfortunate because
unfortunate.
Your
number 4.
It is your number 4. Yeah, thank you. That's very clever. How's that working out for you?
Pretty good. I'm getting punchy.
This was a movie that came in hot that I think in any other ordinary year at the Oscars would have walked away with a lot of awards, given its pedigree, given what happened with the last film from this particular filmmaker, which was Uncut Gems. This was a film that had like a really tongue-in-cheek, big studio campaign behind it from A24 to try and win it as many awards, with a leading man who may have kind of fumbled the ball in the last stages, because the movie wound up winning 0 Oscars last night, but I still recount it as one of my favorite movie-going experiences of the year. A movie that made me sit with this swarmy little creep by the name of Marty Supreme, who just has so much faith in his abilities, and I think would just be the most obnoxious person to ever be around. I think there's one thing there was this idea I was playing with as I was thinking about themes. And there's a couple of movies in this list that probably fall into this category, but there was this idea that I had that was just like, every person of color or every African-American person has a chaotic white guy in their life somewhere. And I was like, this seems like to be a really consistent theme through many of these movies, is like the chaotic white person in this person's life.
As a lifelong chaotic white person.
Yeah. I think you just look no further than this room.
Yeah.
I was just like, when Tyler, the Creator's in this room, I was like, you got to get away, man. This guy's going to destroy you. And I was just, there was just no greater example of like the chaotic white guy just like running havoc through this movie, running havoc through New York City.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that it's a movie, it's an anxiety riddled movie. I think it was a New York Times piece that talked about anxiety cinema this year, and there's no higher point than any Safdie's brother movie. Good Time to Uncut James through this. But just absolutely anxiety inducing with this genuinely swarmy guy, but who has this unfettered belief in what he can do.
If only we could have that.
Yeah, and at some point you just kind of like, at some point you just have to give way to Marty Supreme and just be like, yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
And for a guy who didn't talk so well about ballet and the opera, to make a movie about ping pong, like really,
it's a bold choice.
It's a bold choice, but it worked for me. I gotta say, Marty Supreme is my number 4 movie of the year.
Love it. Well, let's see what another TOPAM fam has to think of. This is Matt, aka DJ Stormageddon, my video game brother in arms. Take it away, Matt. What are your top 10?
Hey, Shahir, Matt. This is also Matt Storm, aka Stormageddon, longtime listener, first time caller. I just wanted to send you a piece of audio with my top 10 movies of 2025. Longtime listener and fan of the pod, adore what y'all do, and figured I'd share my top 10, if only to irritate other people on the internet, because I didn't see nearly as many movies as other folks did last year. And so my top 10 is a little weird, but without any further ado, number 10, Thunderbolts. Number 9, Zootopia 2. Number 8, The Roses. Number 7, The Naked Gun. Number 6, Wicked for Good. Number 5, Ella McKay. Number 4, Wake Up Dead Man. Number 3, Superman. Number 2, Sinners. And then my number 1 movie of 2025, K-pop Demon Hunters. I've watched it at least 5 times and listened to the soundtrack constantly. Anyway, love the pod. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yes, Matt, thank you very much.
We're getting coming in hot with K-pop Demon Hunter.
Yeah, and what was the one
first mention of James L. Brooks' Ella McKay.
That's right.
That movie feels like it's a punchline to a Simpsons joke at this point, in terms of like how many people saw it and talked about it. There was a marketing campaign for Ella McKay that came out this year. It was like the number 1 comedy of the year. I'm here for it. As Good as It Gets is one of my formative movies, and a movie that I absolutely love. Terms of Endearment and Broadcast News as well, from James L. Brooks. So I'm like, I should have made it appointment viewing to go see Ella McKay, just for the fact that when James L. Brooks doesn't need to make movies. He's made, and yet here he is. And the movies he has made have been extraordinary comedy. So I'm like, I'm here for it. This is a great list of movies. Again, another mention of Wicked for Good. And so we are,
and Wake Up Dead Man.
So we're coming in close to the pod. I do feel like for listeners listening to this podcast, this may sound like chaos, but just this overall sense.
Has a sheet.
No, the overall sense I'm getting is a kind of celebration of the chaos of the movies this year. Like this, there's so many people just going to see different things, and I want to hear from so many different people about this, about the movies they saw that moved them this year.
Well, luckily we have more people from the White Elephant. This next group is Sam, Stefano, and Marlos. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, thanks, me or Shahir. I don't know who's doing it. I've been drinking all night. We're going to go through Sam, Stefano, and Marlos's favorite films of 2025 right meow. Sam, could you please tell me the favorite film that you've seen this year? And again, it doesn't have to be released this year. I just want to make that very clear. It can be any film you've seen for the first time this year.
I love dumb comedy. And I saw the Naked Gun remake, and it was like joke.
Yeah.
A million jokes. And it was exactly what I wanted. And, is there anything more to it than that? No. Perfect. I loved it. I saw it twice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can say about a movie. Stefano, what about you?
I struggled with this one, but
we were talking about it. Mickey 17, I think, was my favorite movie of the year.
Mickey 17 was fucking dope.
It was a good idea. It was funny. It was interesting. I mean, I love the director. I love everything that he does. So it was very Okja. Like, it was a lot of like similar, theme, but it was very, very exciting, very well shot. I watched it on the plane. I had to rewatch it on TV because needed to see it in, full screen, and it was good. It was good. Very good movie.
Excellent. Marlos, take us home.
I don't know. I've seen like a lot of movies. So like, it's the third time I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Every time we do this, I just get lost in all the movies that I saw. And I don't remember anything. But I will say, I have to shout out Sinners. I think I'm probably not the first one to say this.
You are the third person to say Sinners at this point.
Okay, cool. So maybe I'll say something different, but probably not. It was just one of those things where I enjoyed the craft that went into it, right? Like it was just like I was lucky enough to get the tickets while they were still in the IMAX, and seeing it flip from like the letterbox 4:3 to the 16:9 to all the different, like just like seamlessly move between all these different aspect ratios, and like just the vibrancy of color, and it like felt like film should feel, and it was just amazing to watch.
Excellent. Everyone around this table, thank you so much for telling me your favorite film in 2025.
Sinners is rocketing up the charts.
Sinners is climbing,
and this is why our awards are more important than the Oscars.
That's right.
Frankly, to say.
Well, we're at our third most important award.
Now, I'm gonna bring back what your theme of the movie is. Wait, this is yours number 3, right?
Yeah, my number 3.
And
what was your number 4 again? It was
my number 4 was Marty Supreme.
That's right.
But your theme of the night is murder.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking that murder is going to coalesce around these last 3.
I kind of. Yeah, and family.
Yeah. Murdering family.
Listen, I don't know what better way to describe my number 3 film other than family and murder.
Okay.
Black Bag.
There you go, rocketing up.
We've talked about Black Bag a lot. It's amazing. I still think about it. I've just put it in an online cart while we did this episode. It's a movie that I will say, more than I think any other one, and this is an interesting effect. I don't think about Black Bag a lot, but when I do, I choose Dos Equis. No, I get the most excited about it. Does that make sense? Like, it's not a film that's consistently on my mind, but whenever I think about it, the dopamine spike is higher than any other film this year.
I can tell you exactly why that is. It's so succinct. Yeah. It is such a succinct experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to, and it's also like, it's a solid, like, as well as being succinct, it's an hour and a half, right? Like, it's a straight 90-minute movie. Soderbergh has talked about this as a guy. Soderbergh is a guy who's made 3-hour movies before and has just been like, I'm just at the stage of my career is like, if you can't get it done in 90 minutes, then maybe you need to think about something else.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about this, his precision, is so on point right now. Just in relation to Black Bag, the movie I watched again this year recently was David Fincher's The Killer. And David Fincher and Soderbergh have kind of got an interesting relationship together where their movies kind of are in conversation with each other, not least of which they show each other their movies. And The Killer is kind of like a Soderbergh thriller. Like it's a really precise kind of thing. But there is a little, Soderbergh does put a little bit of sauce on his work as well. And just, Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, also in The Killer. Just exquisite stuff. I'm really, I'm glad you put it so highly. I wish I'd put it more higher than where I did put it, but I love that movie. I think it's fantastic.
So if you put Black Bag earlier, what is your number 3?
Number 3. By the way, in that list, Mickey 17 was mentioned. It was the first movie we did after
the first mention of it on this podcast. Thank you, Stefano.
Yeah, the Bong Joon-ho film. But my number 3 was also a movie that we saw quite early in last year, in 2025. And again, I mentioned this before. I sort of pair this movie with its sequel that we haven't done on this podcast. But 28 years later, from Danny Boyle, I was just floored by in terms of like, look, Danny Boyle has done it all as well. Like there are three or four directors on this list that, are directors that are really formative for me. Trainspotting, we've talked, if you go way back and listen to our Trainspotting 2 episode, I talk about how important Danny Boyle is as a filmmaker to me. And I watched 28 years later and just go, This is a guy who's kind of done it all, who's won Best Picture, who's done so many genres of films, who can kind of flip, like do any kind of movie. And at every point still feels like he's reinventing the wheel and does it kind of miraculously. There's a sort of quality to him, which is really different to Soderbergh and Fincher, which is that he is like willing to really experiment. Actually, Soderbergh does the same thing. Soderbergh made an iPhone film years ago called Insane. And Boyle here uses the iPhone in a way that like very few people have used an iPhone. And also he and Alex Garland reinvent the mythology around 28 years later into something kind of pretty extraordinary and make one of the first iterations of that franchise. I know there's only been 4 of them where it feels like they've opened the door into something new. Like in the year of Sinners, it's not quite as much of a sort of societal reinvention as much as Sinners was of the vampire genre, but 28 years later, I think is a really striking, surprising film. And then again, if you pair it with the Bone Temple, I think, what Garland and kind of Boyle sets up here is like pretty extraordinary stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Best Dong. Number one dong.
Well, I mean, I'm sure our friend Ross will really want to follow that up with his email. I'll read this right now for Ross's top 10. He says, been slow at catching up on movies with the toddler hanging around, but here goes. His number 10 is Superman. Number 9, Black Bag. Number 8, Paper Moon. Saw it this year. Number 7, Caught Stealing. That's the first reference of Caught Stealing.
Aronofsky's film.
Number 6, Harvey. Saw this year. Number 5, 28 Years Later. Number 4, another first time mention, Phoenician Scheme. Number 3, Weapons. Number 2, One Battle After Another. And number 1, Sinners.
Also a mention of, I think, Peter Bogdanovich's film, Paper Moon, and the movie Harvey, which is a movie I have actually seen. It's got Ernest Borgnine in it. My main reference for Harvey is in Robert Redford's movie Quiz Show. Harvey becomes the which movie won the Oscar. Harvey becomes like a major focus point of the entire Quiz Show narrative. But if you can, go and watch any of the early promotional trailers for Harvey, because Burt Lancaster produced Harvey, and he gets up and he kind of talks about this movie that it's one of these old fashioned like TV commercial where he gets up to talk about the movie he's producing. And Burt Lancaster is obviously a huge movie star at this point. And the running theory with Harvey is that nobody thought this movie was going to do anything other than be a tax write-off.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it was a Best Picture nominee and then a Best Picture winner and then the focus point of the movie Quiz Show. So I'm so fascinated that you watched this movie this year. I barely remember it other than I do know I've seen it because I wanted to see Ernest Borgnine. He's a butcher, I believe, in that movie. Great that you got to watch that this year, and great that you all got to watch Paper Moon as well.
All right, there we go, Ross. Thank you very much. We are going to get into our last, or one of our 3 last TOPAM fam things in.
Just 3?
With the 3, there's 3 more left, and then we have 1 more guest from the party. So we're keeping it going. A lot of 3s going on. This is from Danny and Shantae.
Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Shantae.
And these are our favorite movies of the year. First, I'll go. At number 10, I had Legs, I'd Kick You. Number 9, Presents. 8, 28 Years Later. 7, Begonia. 6, Marty Supreme. 5, The Life of Chuck. 4, The Secret Agent. 3, Superman. 2, Eternity. And number 1 was Sinners.
And at number 10, I had Is This Thing On? Number 9, Marty Supreme. Number 8, The Life of Chuck. Number 7, Song Sung Blue. Number 6, Eternity. Number 5, The Long Walk. Number 4, Begonia. Number 3, F1. Number 2, The Ballad of Wallace Island. And number 1, Sinners.
Danny, Shantae, thank you so much for emailing.
Thank you.
I remember they didn't get married on the podcast, but
they got married on the podcast.
I feel like they got married on the podcast because the last time that they emailed in, they had just gotten married. Yes. And Danny also, I believe, keeps up our Letterboxd page and perhaps our IMDb page as well. I'm not entirely sure. The second and third mention of the movie Eternity. I haven't seen Eternity yet. I really wanted to. I think it's a incredible concept. Do you know much about the movie Eternity?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, but the movie that it reminded me of was a movie that I loved as a child because I just thought the idea was so wonderful that a movie could do this. So if you are a couple, Danny and Shantae, and you have seen Eternity, I want you to seek out a movie on my behalf, by the way. So this is just an exercise for me. And this is Alan Rudolph's film, Made in Heaven, which is a movie I saw on VHS tape in Fiji about a couple who passes away but are destined to be reborn into new souls. I might have mentioned it on our Soul episode as well. If you have time, it's not an assignment, please check it out and tell me if it holds up, because I have really fond memories of it. I am over 40 years old, and this is a movie that I would have seen over 40 years ago, and I cannot remember if it was any good, but I just remember like young romantic little kid me loved this movie, and I think Eternity would kind of hit the same note. First mention of F1. Is it the first mention or maybe the second mention of F1?
I think it's the first mention of F1.
Ballad of Wallace Island, I think, is also in there. Lots of great movies in there as well. Thank you, Danny and Shantae.
Thank you. We are going to move on to our number twos, and by our number twos, it's me. I'm going first, and then Shahir goes second for our number twos.
Who does number two work for?
Who does number two work for? I think, I think number two might work for Guayma. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it doesn't matter because I'm talking about fucking K-pop Demon Hunters.
Right.
This movie shocked me to my core. The name of it is so silly. And it sounds like something I would enjoy, but that wouldn't come within a hair's breadth of my number one film, which I think we can all figure out, but I won't say its name yet. I fell in love with this film from the first few seconds of it. The people who brought the same Sony Animation Studio that sort of did Spider-Verse, bringing us this wonderful new story and new characters. The phenomenal fucking music of EJ. Who wrote a lot of the songs, the K-pop songs, and her story is phenomenal. Also, Rayame and Audrey Nuna are the three that sing for the titular K-pop Demon Hunters. And I think Rumi, Zoe, and Mira are like, it's so awesome to see not only new characters in a new type of story, but also like blending music into it so seamlessly and not falling into the trap of a lot of animated films where, because like it's for kids, sure, but it's also not for kids. There is permanence in this world. There is sacrifice, and it's not cheap, and it's not. Everything actually had stakes because things changed at the end. And a lot of times in these kind of movies, that doesn't happen. Again, I think the methodology of crafting this film with sort of like the music right at the same time as the story and the plot really made it all tie together. It's something that you could enjoy just the music, you could enjoy just the story, but when you put them both together, it is something truly spectacular that came out of, I know they worked on it for like 4 years before it came out of Netflix, but for me, came out of nowhere and it blindsided me. It's absolute exquisite filmmaking, and I love it to death.
And winner of the best animated feature at the Oscars last night.
Yeah,
it's so funny you said that, because when you said this movie shocked me, I was like, hey, so did my number two, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we finally have an overlap.
Nope.
We are not going to have an overlap at all, but I think it was just a wonderful expression of how we both think the same, but not the same at all.
Yeah.
Because my number two movie is a movie also that completely shocked me, that I, even on the episode that we did this movie, said this is not one of my favorite movies of the year. And then the process of going through this list just brought me back to this movie several times over. And I expressed when I saw this movie that I couldn't shake it. And what happened after seeing this particular movie was that I went and talked to people about this movie. And I did that knowing these people wouldn't see this movie ever. So I went to a lot of dad friends and was like, I'm going to tell you about this movie. You're never going to see it, so it's totally fine. But we spoiled it and talked about it. My son, I explained it to my son, and he had one of the best lines of film criticism I've ever heard, because he understood so quickly what the movie was doing from my description of it. And that
you really just complimenting your description of it.
Well, no, I'm complimenting my son's intelligence. But this is Oliver Lax's film, Sarat. Sarat just absolutely destroyed me and then didn't leave me. And it was like, when I watched it, as I said, I didn't like it. I was like so shaken by the movie, and I didn't know what I had been experiencing. But then I listened to some interviews with him, and he said something that was like, look, I love television and I love film and cinema. He says so much of the cinema that I loved growing up and the reason why I wanted to make movies were films shook me to my core and like transformed the way he talked about the fact that like when he walked into a film, he came out a different person. And Sarat was that for me, you know, like I came out of that movie a different person. And what my son said was when I explained the movie to him and what had happened in the movie, his immediate line, which is a very of his generation time, but he nailed it. He was like, this is a movie where no characters have plot armor. And I was like, wow.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, and I wish I'd said that on that episode because he said that to me a couple of times then. He's like, oh, that's the movie with no plot armor, right? And I was like, yeah, that's the movie with no plot armor. And that is a dangerous feeling to have when you watch a movie like that. And it is a uncertain world that those characters walk out of at the end of that movie. It is not a movie I would recommend for anyone. There's been one mention of it on this podcast from another listener. It's got an extraordinary soundtrack. But I found that there was this idea that I talked about on a David Fincher episode about the idea that movies that scar, and this was a movie that deeply scarred me. And I'm saying this as a person who was like, I don't even know if I like this movie to begin with, but I have found that I have been shaken by the movie and I have not been able to let it go. And it's the movie I've talked to more people about. And it is the movie that will stay with me for the longest period of time. And the process of doing this list really filtered it out into that position. So I was like really affected by that particular movie.
Nice. Awesome.
You got nothing to say about it?
No, I mean, I feel like we've, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think that Sarat, I love your son's thing about the plot armor. I think that I liked it quite a bit. But I interestingly have not thought about it as much or talked to as many people about it. I think it's great, but it's a movie that I experienced. It shocked me, and I think I'm kind of done with. Like, again, that's not saying anything bad about it. I think actually in a weird way, it's an odd compliment. Like, it is so effective that I can one and done it, and it worked perfectly. We got 3 more clips for y'all, and then our number 1. This first one is another TOPAM fam. This one is from Kellen.
Hello, Matt, Shahir, and TOPAM fam. Happy year in review of the reviews of the year. Instead of a top 10, I want to mention 4 documentaries about showbiz that I loved in 2025. Jaws at 50 celebrates the golden anniversary of Steven Spielberg's seminal blockbuster, with old and new interviews compiled into a joyful reflection on the nightmare production. John Candy, I Like Me, is 2 hours of hysterical laughter and devastating sobbing as it explores the life and death of one of the nicest Canadians in Hollywood. Billy Joel and So It Goes is a music documentary that pays just as much attention to being in the studio making rock and roll as the sex and drugs shenanigans its subject got into. And My Mom Jane is Mariska Hargitay's cathartic exploration of the life and death of her mother, Jane Mansfield. Mariska's journey of rediscovering her mom and learning about each of their pasts, both together and apart, is so heartbreaking. But then seeing Jane's legacy live on and seeing Mariska do what her mom was never afforded the opportunity to do fills me with so much hope and joy. And it's my favorite movie of 2025. Thanks as always for the great discussions, and here's to 2026.
Thank you, Kellen.
Thank you.
That's so wonderful. Kellen, again, is also a film writer, film critic for his newspaper, which, again, I think I've posted about before. His description of My Mom Jane is so incredible because Mariska Hargitay is probably most known to everyone on Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Yes.
And the fact that she went off and made a documentary about her mother, Jane Mansfield, who, incredible starlet from her time. Izzy from BK Rewind will have better stories or better descriptors about this, but also died in one of the most horrific car crashes of all time. I'm really fascinated to see that, along with the John Candy documentary, I Like Me.
Yeah.
I think would be a great one. And I'm a big Jaws fan. There's been a lot of Jaws lore recently. There was a play. There's a movie about the making of coming out as well.
There was the musical.
There's the musical. Yeah. It's all about Bruce, right?
Yeah.
It's all about Bruce.
Yeah. All right, here comes the last guest from the White Elephant Party. It's the most drunk that I am at this party, but also it's a little bit of a reunion because here is Steve and I talking about Steve's favorite film of 2025. Steve, hi, buddy.
Hey, Matt.
How are you?
I am doing all right. This brings back memories.
It does bring back memories. Can I tell you something before we get into your favorite film of 2025? Sure. So I was discussing with Nando of Nando V Movies. He found our old Christmas tree ornament, which is the ultraviolet ticket stub from when you and I went to go watch it back in 2005. It is hanging on the tree right now, along with 2 stockings with our names on them.
Oh, wow. We'll have to go see that.
So essentially, Steve and I, for listeners who are not familiar, used to do something called Same Night Movie Review, which it started with Steve, myself, and our friend Court went to go see a film called Ultraviolet when we first moved to the city in 2025, and we hated it so much that I was like, Steve, film me.
And I did.
And I ranted for 4 minutes about how much I hated Ultraviolet, and then I pretended to take a bunch of pills and I fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And then we made a series about writing, shooting, and editing a review of the movie and the style of the movie the night we saw the film. Because we were 20 and we had infinite energy.
Yeah. No money, energy, and a lot of time.
And also, YouTube didn't exist yet.
No, it really didn't.
So we uploaded quick times to a website. So I've been talking about our exploits literally all night.
Okay.
So with all of that preamble ambled, Steve Buja, my longest friend in New York City and my cinematic brother in arms, what was your favorite film of 2025?
So, Matt, 20 years, by the way. Happy 20 years to
Happy
us.
20 to fucking us living here.
I know. Crazy. So I was talking about this with a lot of people and was thinking about this, knowing that this question was coming. But I think the movie that touched me the most, Train Dreams.
That's your movie. I actually clocked it when we were talking about it. I said that was a very Steve Buja movie.
It really is. It's about about a simple man who does phenomenal work, and it's basically his life in the turn of the century Northwest as a logger, and his life and what he goes through. And it's profound in this very Terrence Malick way.
Yeah.
If audience, Terrence Malick, he did The Thin Red Line, he did The Tree of Life. He does these sweeping sort of natural, kind of meandering films that evoke a lot of beauty and, provide imagery. And it was the one movie I was watching it at home. I've been doing some other things while engaged in it. And it came to the end. So I sat down for the last 5 minutes, and the credits started, and I just sort of stopped there. And then the song by Nick Cave, I think it's called Train Dreams, came on, and I just lost it. And sometimes we lose something, and then we are like,
you gotta keep going,
and we plateau, and that's the story of us. But still, even in that, there can be moments of transcendence, of just pure beauty, and just a reminder that we are still alive, and that even though we lost something, we're lucky to be here.
Steve, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on Train Dreams.
I look forward to coming in every year and talking with you, at least very briefly, about movies. So
that's how it goes. Come back for other movies. You want to talk about other shit? Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out in March. I don't know.
Woo! Avatar?
Thank you, Steve.
I feel like the prologue to that is that you fell out of the room. Like I feel, sorry, not the prologue, like the after.
Oh,
it
yeah.
It sounds like
done.
you just stumbled out of the room.
We did. We left.
That.
We just left it running.
Collapsed out of the room.
You can just hear the walla of the rest of the party. And now here we come to our last and final top 10 from a TOPAM fammer. This is Nicholas. Let's hear his top 10.
Okay, only podcast about movies. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Nicolo's top 10 movies. Now, this is going to be a very weird list because there's a ton of movies I haven't seen that I want to see, like Hamnet, and several more. But here are the list, a very strange list of my top 10 movies of the year. Now, obviously, there's some obvious ones on it, like Sinners, love that movie. Like One Battle After Another, I love that movie. As you know, I'm a huge nerd, so Superman and Fantastic Four: First Steps made my list. I am also a dad, and so I see a lot of movies with my kids, including those 2 movies. But K-pop Demon Hunters is on my list. Dogman is on my list. I loved Dogman. I love those books. The movie was terrific. I love Predator Badlands. It's another one on my top 10 list. Now for the less likely ones, loved Black Bag. I loved Blue Moon. I'm a music theater nerd. And so movie, Linklater, music theater, hard to go wrong with that one. And the last one on my list is one that I've heard no one talking about except for my good buddy Joe O'Brien from the Glass Cannon podcast. Movie called Bob Trevino Likes It. Stars John Leguizamo. He's the only, there's a couple people you recognize in this movie, but it's a delightful movie, tiny movie. Saw it on a plane, and I loved it. So that is it. That is the top 10 movies of 2025, according to Nick Lowe. Matt, you here. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Nick.
Wow, the only mention of Bob Trevino, sorry, let me get this right. Bob Trevino likes it. I was going to say Bob Trevino loves it, but he doesn't.
But he doesn't love it. He just likes it.
He just likes it. So that's the only mention of that movie. You know, before we go to our final ones here, can I tell you what I think has won the podcast?
Sure.
I don't think it's Sinners.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
No. I mean, Sinners has like got the most counts.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I think has won the podcast.
Yeah.
Black Bag.
Maybe. That'd be so great if it did.
I think this is a subjective point of view on it here. I think Black Bag has won the podcast because that is the most. Everyone has the most affection for that movie.
But is it the most mentioned?
No, it's not the most mentioned. That
doesn't win the podcast.
I literally just said that out loud.
It's been a long day.
I literally just said it has not got the most mentions, but it is the movie that most people have talked about in terms of like liking the most.
But wait, how can it have the most mentions if people have to mention it to talk about it?
Okay, it is the movie that people have the most affection for when across the board here. Like I'm saying, there's a bigger spread of people have talked about that movie.
Right, but wouldn't you have to have mentioned it to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So wouldn't it be on the list?
It is on the list. It is on the list. What I'm saying is, subjectively, which is what I just said, is that it is the movie that I think more people are mentioning than Sinners.
Right. I guess that's my question. On our list, because you've been keeping a very diligent
Sinners
tabulation.
has the most like tabulated number.
So then, it has more than Black Bag.
But I'm saying Black Bag, in my opinion, wins the podcast because I think more people are talking about that movie as a movie that people should go see. People are just kind of mentioning Sinners and like I saw Sinners, it was great. That's what I mean. It's like, and
you're saying, let me just rephrase what you're saying to make sure I understand. You're saying that even though Black Bag has less mentions than Sinners, when someone talks about Black Bag,
that's what I'm saying.
They're being far more passionate and like really pushing people to go see it.
That's what I'm suggesting.
There we go.
People are going, I saw Sinners, I loved it.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone loves Sinners. Sinners is a great movie. It had a lot of things. But I'm saying when we look at the actual discussions that are going on here, Black Bag to me is the movie that seems to be the one that more people are articulating an affection for that people should go see.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, I guess that does bring us to my number one. As we probably know by now, being a horror fan myself, it's really wonderful that this film is the one that will take the cake and be my number one for all time. I'm, of course, talking about Until Dawn. No, I'm talking about.
Did we do Until Dawn?
We did Until Dawn, or technically the PAX episode.
We did do Until Dawn. It was like the 6th movie we did.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, Sinners. We've already talked about it a bunch. We don't need to reiterate it. Here's what I will say, and the reason why I eked out in front of K-pop Demon Hunters. I feel like it has such a depth in the things that it wants to talk about. K-pop Demon Hunters has like 2, maybe 3. This movie, it feels like you can read it in multiple different ways and every one is correct. I love a horror period piece. I love one that speaks to the time, but also makes the horror intertwined with the horrors of that time. I love that even Remick can be a representation of any hardship or evil of that time, and it all makes entire sense. And it not only does that, but it makes even some of the people that are afflicted by the evil and causing the evil, like there's also a victimhood to them, but it doesn't matter. Like it's so fucking whip smart, and Sinners is easily my top movie of the year.
Yeah, I think it's an easy choice for most people. It's probably why we both picked it as
it
is the movie of the moment, and it captures the moment so eloquently, beautifully. I again put some thought into like this idea of the past being our past being our future. And, again, Sinners has that moment in it, which I think will be a moment that defines cinema for years to come now, in terms of like so perfectly surprising an audience, so perfectly encapsulating what the film is about, and so perfectly summarizing a sort of really complicated idea in a year where people want to take away history as far as we know, like literally want to take away history as far as we know.
Yep.
In that respect, the best movie, the number one film for me was the movie I saw. It was like literally the first movie I saw after we did The Brutalist. I saw it at Sundance, and then I pushed us to do it on the podcast this year as well. It is a movie that not a lot of people have seen, not a lot of people have gotten into. Its distribution hasn't been as wide as some of the other movies on our list, particularly Sinners. But it is now available for VOD right now in pre-order, and it should be available soon. And that is Sherry Dabi's film, All That's Left of You. It was like the first film I saw and the last film I saw this year. In both times, it is a film that manages to span the breadth of a tragedy, which is the plight of the Palestinian people, through the course of
generations.
One family's generational story from 1947 on through to today. And it is heartfelt, sincere, devastating to watch, incredibly masterfully told. Sharon Dabi writes, acts, and directs in the movie. It features some of the greatest performances I've ever seen committed to screen, and is for me a film for the ages. Now, this isn't taken away from Sinners or anything like that. This is a much smaller movie, but one that deeply affected me in sort of a profound way, and one that I will, like if anyone asks me what is the movies of the year, this is the one that I mention really a lot, because I want people to see it.
Yeah.
I really want people to go out and see this movie.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love it. Do you want to just do a quick recap of our top 10s just so we can kind of see it?
If you want to make them listen to our voices longer, we absolutely can.
Yeah. Number 10 for me was Materialist, Pretty to Badlands for you, One Battle After Another for me, Superman for you, Sketch for me, The Secret Agent from you is our number 8. Number 7, Black Bag. Number 7 for you is Thunderbolts. Train Dreams for me is my number 6 film. No Other Choice for you. Sinners, my number 5 film. Wake Up Dead Man is your number 5. Marty Supreme, Train Dreams, 28 Years Later, Black Bag, Sarat, K-Pop Demon Hunters, All That's Left of You, and Sinners. What a wild movie year. Is this one of the best movie years we've had in a while?
I think so.
I think it really is one of the best movie years we've had.
It's also one of the clearest. I don't know. Like I said before, this was the list. This was it. No matter what for me. Like I knew. And it was awesome hearing from everybody who wrote us in and sent in their files and talked in this very room while I was totally sober. Thank you all so much for helping us with this conversation and having a community to talk about this stuff with. This is by far my favorite episode I think we do every year, and it's only getting bigger, not just in the length. We might have beaten Patrick's. I won't know until I edit this, but I'll let you know next episode.
And I will put together as much social content out of this in terms of like just steering people towards certain movies. I'll put out the list that we have here.
This list is great, and so Sinners won with mentions, but you think that the passion should make Black Bag.
I mean, just for example, people often mentioned One Battle After Another, but didn't say anything about it. People was like, I liked One Battle After Another.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people mentioned Sentimental Value, didn't talk about it. A lot of people talked about Black Bag.
Yeah.
I think Black Bag is the movie that people will be most surprised. And it's 90 minutes. You get it right now, and it's super sexy.
Yeah. Well, it did work, and I like the little chart here. Yeah. All right. I think we've earned a long winter's nap.
Yes. This episode is coming out
early, technically.
Earlier than it normally would, which means we're going to take a little bit of a hiatus, but we're going to come back after that. What is our next movie?
Project Hail Mary.
Project Hail Mary, the biggest movie of 2026.
That's right. Well, thank you all again for listening. And if you've made it here, you are truly TOPAM fam royalty. We know this is long, but we hope it's enjoyable. We hope you get many a commute or whatever you do with your podcasts out of this. Until next crime, thanks for watching movies and talking with us about it. We really appreciate it. Email us in at onlymoviepodcast@gmail.com. Keep talking, keep chatting, keep watching. That's it. Anything else here?
We're coming up to episode 600, baby.
Jesus Christ.
600.
Oh, it's coming. It's like 20 away.
Yeah, but
It'll be
that's
fine.
600.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's on the radar.
All right.
See you, everyone.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.